Welcome to Season 2, Episode 22 of the Tree of Geek. In this episode, the unknown lingers and creatures of nightmares lurk in the shadows. Join us as we unveil our picks for the top 10 scariest monsters of science fiction. You know, the kind that spawned from the cold, calculating minds of some of the greatest filmmakers in history. Michael, this is right up your alley.
You're right. It is up my alley. In fact, if you go down to the train yard where the H train keeps his engine, you'll see in the deep, dark shadows to the left, something creeps. Is it slimy and gory? Yes. Is the Navy here?
Ooh. That's right. On this episode, we will be looking at the scariest monsters of science fiction. And that is our personal top 10 picks. So yes, we have a list.
You get a list. I get a list. We go back and forth.
As always, we want to hear from you. So feel free to jump onto our socials and drop your list. Let us know what you think of our list, and we'll get back to you.
Tell us what would be on your list. Tell us why Josh's are all sissy picks and why none of them are scary. And tell them why I'm a big girly man. You know, that's fine. Or tell us, you know what, now I'm so scared I can never listen to your podcast again. So.
Well, before we get into it, though, and I've noticed through our editing that a lot of our intros and New and Geeks have been like 20 minutes long. So we're going to breeze through this one a little bit quicker. Get to the good stuff.
Are you mad because I have 6 picks for the week?
A little bit.
Is that the problem?
No. All right, so we'll go ahead and start with you. What is New and Geek in your realm of happiness?
Well, I got 6 picks this week. Apparently, I gotta not really give a detailed.
It's okay.
You're probably gonna cut out everything I say. No, it's fine. No,
you go
I
into
understand.
detail. I have 2.
You want H-Train in turbo mode? You're gonna get H-Train in turbo mode. Okay. All right. Number 1, Disney and Lucasfilm are apparently being sued for using Peter Cushing's visage in Rogue One. We already have had a lot of issues with people and the moral issue of can they be used, you know, in these movies when they've passed, or they just don't want to be in the movie at all. Can we use their likenesses or not? Well, apparently Peter Cushing's family or whoever's in charge of his estate is like, no, you cannot, and we're going to sue you.
Where was his image used? I'm not sure who that is.
It was in Rogue One.
I gotta look it up.
Grand Moff Tarkin.
Oh, okay. It took them a while to get around to suing them.
Yeah, it's been out a minute.
Yeah.
Apparently they saw Romulus and they're like, you know what? Now's our time. Apparently Ian McKellen has been talked to about this Gollum 2 Hunt for Gollum deal that nobody wants to see. But, you know, just in case you didn't want to see one movie, it's going to be split into 2.
No.
So there's going to be 2 Hunt for Gollums. This is going to be left on a cliffhanger. Obviously, like, oh my God, where is he? We know where he's at. He's under a damn mountain.
I wonder if he survives.
Oh, yeah. I went with 2 of our friends and Emily to see Beetlejuice. I give it a 7.5. I did throw a quick thing on the socials, but I'll say it again. It was a decent sequel to the original, but it kind of meandered. There was a lot of extra stuff that didn't really need to be there that kind of distracted you from the main point of the movie. But overall, it was still fun. The trend of 7.5 for me and my ratings continues. So far, just about everything I've seen this year is either 7.5 or below. Masters of the Universe. I've been posting some things on socials about people that have been getting cast. Now we have good old Jared Leto, because why not? He might be a Skeletor. I don't know if he'll do the voice or not. He joins that Nicholas Galitzine as He-Man, casts Camila Mendes from Riverdale as Tila, and Allison Brie also just joined. She's from Glowing Community. She will be Evelyn, Skeletor's right-hand woman. The casting's really not that bad. Jared Leto's in makeup. I mean, he is a good actor. He hasn't been doing that great lately, in my opinion, on some things, but I mean, can he beat Frank Langella as Skeletor? Who knows? Tomorrow's Friday the 13th for us in this time, not for you in your time. But with that being said, Brad Caleb Kanu is now the new showrunner. Brian Fuller in Paramount couldn't reach some agreements on some things, so he dipped out. But this guy's worked on Fringe, Black Sails, the It movie, and Welcome to Derry, the prequel that's coming out here very soon. So, I mean, it's going to be probably scary. The guy's done some scary things. I love Earwatch Fringe.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Black Sails, even though it wasn't a scary show, had some brutality to it. Yeah, I guess he did some writing on there. It was really good. And finally, I finished book 0 in the Wheel of Time series. I've been collecting all of them. I'm a couple chapters, maybe like 5 or 6 chapters into book 1. So I finally finished a book that wasn't a Harry Potter book or the Chronicles of Narnia for the third, fourth, fifth time.
I think it's awesome. I do.
Yeah, you got to read. You got to read. We're down a man at work, so I haven't had as much time to read. But and then you and I were doing some writing. Where we've been trying to get a novel going. It's been my damn work's been in the way. How dare work make me work? I don't like it. But what about you? What do you got going on in the new?
Was that 6 already?
Yeah, that was 6, man.
Jeez.
Zoom zoom.
Well,
Ka-chow.
first thing I have is new for me. It's not exactly new at all.
I can't help it.
Kachauga? After one of our discussions recently, I went out of my way and I watched the movie Life with Jake Gyllenhaal, Ryan Reynolds.
Eddie Murphy, and
No.
not that one.
Nope.
Not where he has to stand on beer bottles and
Not that one. No.
Martin Lawrence, cornbread, touching my cornbread.
Nope. The good one.
Oh, okay. Oh, no, that movie's good.
I know.
That movie's awesome.
No, the sci-fi thriller from, I think it was 2021, maybe 22, maybe
17.
I don't know. It wasn't that old.
Maybe I don't know. It was more older than 2-3 years ago. I don't know. You say so. Give me that look.
27.
2017.
Anyways.
Why do you fuck with? Why do you even fuck with me?
I know.
I don't even know why. You're a glutton for punishment.
So I loved it. I thought it was an incredibly good movie until the last like 5 minutes. I hated it. I was so mad. I'm not going to give anything away, but I was so mad at the ending.
From 2017, you can give stuff away.
Nope.
No?
I want people to go watch it by themselves and get their own opinion. If you've seen Life, let me know in the comments what you think. Great movie. I hated the ending. I don't know if it's because I was frustrated with it or if I just thought it was a cop-out. I'm not sure how I feel.
You told me you were a couple minutes in or halfway through and I said, fuck that ending. You're like, oh, they didn't stick the landing? And I was like, oh, no, to me, they did. It's just fuck that ending. And then you said you hated the ending. And I was like, well, that wasn't my intention. But anything else?
Well, it happened.
Yeah, it's life happens.
I picked up and read the issue number 1 of Alien versus Avengers comic.
Is there anybody in a leather jacket?
No, not really. But it does play it off as in the future with...
Oh, they don't have leather jackets in the future.
Well, and obviously this is in the future because they try and keep it somewhat canonical.
You don't kill cows in the future, so we don't have leather.
Well, it plays like, the Fantastic Four, I guess, are dead.
Why are you going to give me the premise of this, but you won't give me the people, the overall premise of Life from 2017, but you're going to give me the plot on Aliens versus Avengers?
This is more
important. If I want to read it?
Yeah, then go ahead. But it follows the daughter of Sue and Reed Richards. Captain Marvel's older, the Hulk is older. So it takes place a little ways in the future. But all in all, I was actually very impressed.
Is this a Marvel or Dark Horse thing?
Marvel. I didn't like where it ended just because I felt it ended very abruptly, but it is I think 4-part series. So
you just read part 1.
Yeah, that's all it's out right now is part 1.
Okay.
So I do recommend go out, pick it up. It's worth the read. There's a lot of reading. Like there's some areas that are just dialogue, a lot of it. But all in all, it was still a really good read. I liked it.
Okay. Recommended. I recommend Beetlejuice. You recommend the Alien versus Avengers.
Yeah.
That apparently is about the Fantastic Four, but sure.
No, it's not.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Everybody dies. I'm just kidding. Well, I think I'm kidding. I don't know.
What if you're immortal like a Highlander? What if you're eternal like, the Eternals?
What if a Highlander gets impregnated with a xenomorph and their head doesn't come off so they don't die?
They would just heal.
But we would have a Highlander xenomorph that couldn't die unless you took his head off. Possibly. You know what that sounds like? A role for Adam Sandler. All right, well, that's all I've got.
Oh, shit. That reminds me. Did you hear they're doing Happy Gilmore too?
I did not.
Why are we doing Happy? I mean, when I even read about the Goonies too, I was like, well, it's been forever, but the original cast is coming back. But like, why screw with Happy Gilmore? It is fine where it is.
Money.
Like, no, don't do this to me. In fact, I don't even want the Goonies, man.
No.
Give me a brand new original story that maybe our future kids, well, you got kids, maybe I might soon, I don't know. Maybe those kids can latch onto something new. Like, don't, or some teenager be like, man, this is like, super bad. You remember when they did The Hangover, and then they did The Hangover 2, and then they did The Hangover 3 to like, what the, just, don't need it, don't want it. Anyway, let's move on to your scary picks.
So we're going to start at number 10 and count our way down to number 1.
And you get to go first because I went first in the New and Geek. We don't roll dice anymore, and I don't even know where one is. So you get to just go by default.
All right, fair enough. So we have it set up.
Cujo.
Well, we have it set up. Creature, what it's from, where it debuted, and then like what it is, who it is, and why we choose.
Yeah, like a brief bio of kind of what it is. Nothing super detailed. We're not going to go, talk for 2 hours about these things. Now, I just want to say we wanted to make sure that these are science-based. Like, we're talking aliens. We're talking...
genetically modified, something.
Some Frankenstein's type monster stuff. Nothing that's like really interdimensional or supernatural, if like something divine, like demons and things. These are basically science-based. Some of them might be pushing the line, and we'll explain why we picked them, but this is science-based because this is, in this season we've pretty much done science fiction, so we're sticking with science,
Yep, perfect. So my number 10 pick is the dinosaurs from Jurassic Park. First debuted in the Jurassic Park
Just
novel.
all the dinosaurs?
Well, I'm getting there.
Okay.
First debuted in the Jurassic Park novel in 1990, written by Michael Crichton. Who or what is it? Well, if you don't know the answer to this, you need to get out.
Dinosaurs.
But they're genetically engineered clones brought back to life using ancient DNA extracted from mosquitoes inside of amber. That's the best I could do for a description. I don't really know what else you want me to say here. Why I chose them. Specifically, I chose the deadlier predators like the Velociraptor, the T-Rex, even the Compies, because they demonstrate an incredible level of problem-solving ability and intelligence that I don't feel like you really see when it comes to movies about, quote, wild animals, if that makes sense. They were dropped into a world where they just simply didn't understand, didn't belong in with humans, and it's just, the movie is literally their primal animal instinct taking over, which is simply kill and survive. The idea of watching a human being hunted rather than them doing the hunting is unnerving, and the way that those movies were done to just really push your anxiety levels, I thought it was genius. To this day, I mean,
it didn't hurt that Steven Spielberg
right.
was the one behind the camera in part 1.
But, and I've said it multiple times, Lord of the Rings, favorite trilogy. Jurassic Park, my favorite standalone movie, hands down.
Standalone movie.
There are no sequels.
There's no Fast and Furious sequels either.
And yeah, right.
Brian Spillner was only in one.
But I feel like this is one of those movies that, I mean, it'll be 30 years old soon, next year. It has stood the test of time. It still looks amazing.
There was a kid that I knew, what was this, like 3rd grade when this came out? Something like that?
95.
95, oh yeah, somewhere. I guess in like 6th grade, really. Somewhere around there. Anyway, this one kid was just like obsessed. You know the kid in the movie that dresses up like Alan Grant? Like this kid came to school in that type of clothing all the time with the shorts. Man. I mean, it wasn't like specifically like that, but he was always, and then we were tasked this one time to make a board game. And he made like the most elaborate, complicated, intricate Jurassic Park board game. He was trying to explain to the class, it was ridiculous, but this kid was obsessed.
That's actually kind of
Jurassic Park. Not just dinosaurs, but Jurassic Park.
What's his name? Tim?
I don't remember, but but he even looked like that kid. It was crazy.
He stuck a fork in the light socket just to feel like him. But that's my number 10 pick.
Now listen, we get just one more precursor here. Now, we are grown men, and a lot of these creatures on the list don't really probably scare us today as adults, probably won't even scare a lot of other adults. But take your mind back to like the first time you saw a scary movie when you were like 6 or 7 and you weren't supposed to see it on TV, and what the feelings you had. Or maybe you have a phobia, an actual legit phobia of spiders or something. Imagine seeing arachnophobia for the first time. So we're basing a lot of these on like when we were a lot younger and we were exposed to these things, and the feelings and the emotions it gave to us is why we compile the list separately.
It's the things that left a lasting impact. Like, I still clearly remember watching this movie as a kid And I mean, I was probably, I'd say 10 or 11 when I first saw it. I didn't see it brand new, but, and I remember like when me and my friends would go out and, you know, we'd play in the woods or whatever, my imagination would go wild. Like, hey, there might be something out here.
Right?
Like tall grass. No.
You don't know. Yeah.
And that it left a solid impact on me. And to this day, it's one of my favorite movies and it's one of my favorite books.
So, but you put it on the list because humans are being hunted, and that you said that was unnerving. So that's how it made your list here.
It made my list because seeing the dinosaurs and just that pure primal rage actively hunting humans, it just freaked me out as a kid.
All right. Good pick. Good solid pick.
That's it. That's all I got for number 10.
Okay. Well, I will move on to my number 10 then. From the Star Trek franchise, I am choosing the Borg. First debuted in May of '89 on the Star Trek episode Hugh. Who? I don't know. There was a Borg named Hugh. Who are they? The Borg are an alien race of cyborgs that form a collective with the Queen in charge. Why did I put them on this list and consider them scary? So the Borg, they assimilate other races and add their subdued races' biological and technological distinctiveness to their own, to the collective. The drones have minds that are suppressed, and you kind of like lose your individuality. You are now just part of this collective. You're just on the whim of the Queen. So you go around with your little tubes that come out of your hands, you inject somebody in the neck. The virus very, very, like we're talking within seconds, is already infecting you. It's changing your biological makeup. Body horror here. So now they're number 10. So give me a little bit of credit here. So they're not like the most scary, but the fact that they will take out an eye, they'll cut off an arm, they'll put some technological device there, like some infrared eye or some weird thing on your hand that moves around and scans things, and it has like, you know, or what are those Connect sets back from the day that you could like make claws out of, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, this was made for TV, but you know, it had that kind of Hellraiser Cenobite feel to it with the black and the leather, and I don't like your consciousness is kind of taken away. So you don't care about your friends or your family, whoever's around. Like you're just there to assimilate. Like you lose everything, and to lose your individuality, to lose your uniqueness, which is kind of like, you know, weird because they're adding your distinctiveness, but it all disappears. And it doesn't matter if you're a Klingon, if you're a human, a Vulcan, like they have taken out everybody. They've been around for like probably millions of years from the Delta Quadrant. And like, there's only one species in all of Star Trek that the Borg were ever afraid of. I mean, that says something, that the entire universe are like, oh shit, here are the Borg. I mean, they're the Wolf 359, I think is what is. There's a giant battle with like hundreds and hundreds of starships against a couple Borg ships. And like all the allies just got like massacred. Like the Borg just ran through them.
What series was this in?
The Next Generation.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the movie First Contact, which is in my opinion, next to The Wrath of Khan, probably the best Star Trek movie ever made.
It just sounds like a really dark storyline for Star Trek.
It is. Dude, watch First Contact. Like it's got some it's got some creepy shit in that movie. It does. But they land at 10. You can shoot them with like Tommy guns and stuff, but like they have energy shields that adapt to phasers and everything. Like you probably couldn't even use a lightsaber because they probably adapt to the frequency of the lightsabers, whatever in the cube that it. I don't know all the techno babble from Star Wars and how it works, but I'm just saying the Borg they're scary creatures. There's a reason that even Klingons are like, no, we ain't fucking with those dudes. So even the Dominion were like, nah, now we're good. So yeah, that's why
what race were they afraid of?
The Borg, they were some long string of numbers.
Oh, okay.
They were from another dimension of space-time where the Borg couldn't physically mess with them, but yet they could fuck with the Borg. Like the Borg kept trying to assimilate them, and they kept getting massacred, so they had to get the Federation to help them, like defeat them because they were gonna kill the Federation too at some point. It's all in Star Trek Voyager.
Interesting.
Like
okay.
season 4 or 5 or something. And don't get killing me on the comments. You know how many seasons of Star Trek there are of those shows? It's
season 47.
I love Star Trek, but man, it's in Voyager.
Season 47, episode 362.
I think back in the day, man, like the Next Generation, they had 7 seasons, but there was like 20, 30 episodes in a season. Now you have like a show on Netflix where you're getting 8 episodes. And people are like, well, we didn't get enough. You had 8 episodes. That was it. Sorry.
The average used to be 21, 22.
Yeah. Well, you could have those on syndication. That's how I watched them all on reruns, you know?
Right.
What about your number 9? Who's your number 9?
Moving into number 9. So it was actually a tie for me. This one or Jurassic Park on what was 9 and 10.
So what scared you a little bit more than the Jurassic Park dinosaurs?
The Langoliers from Stephen King's novella and the book 4 Past Midnight in 1990.
I almost put them on a list, but I thought they were more... They're too... I don't know. I don't know. I didn't think they were technological enough, and there was only the miniseries for me to really go off of. But you explained to me, it's your pick. Why are they on here?
So what are they?
The fucking reality. I'm sorry. That's what they are.
The Langoliers are time and reality eating entities that devour the past, ensuring that the old unused moments of history are consumed and erased from existence. That's what I found online. The best explanation.
They're time janitors.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
In the story, they appear in the movie. They appear as monstrous spherical creatures with giant gnashing teeth. That's an understatement.
I'll tell you what. Do you even know the special effects from the miniseries where it's like, even today though, if you watch that, it's still. I agree with you here.
They look like meatballs with a 3-cornered mouth cut open and like rotating, grinding teeth.
Yeah, like a mutated Pac-Man.
I know that probably doesn't sound scary, but I watched this as a kid, and
I think I saw when I was like 9. I was like, "What the hell is that?"
Yeah, the CGI is horrible. I'll give you that, but
it wasn't back in like the early 90s.
No,
it was pretty decent.
And to give you an idea of where this is coming from, this is straight out of the mind of Stephen King.
Yeah,
and his, I'd say, prime too.
Are they connected to the Dark Tower series at all? I never read that stuff. I know my buddy did.
I don't know. I wanted to read them, but I never did. That'd be because I read before a theory that all of his work is in the same universe or the same multiverse.
My buddy, he's read a lot of the Dark Tower and It and all that stuff, and he says a lot of it's connected. And it's funny enough that here, I think I'm about to do my 1995 movies, the horror movies, and I'm pretty sure the Langoliers came out in 95, right?
Yeah.
So I'll be rewatching. I'll have a nice rewatch this year.
So why did I choose them? It was one of those things where most people entertain the idea of like, what if I could change one thing in my life, or what if I could go back in time, or if I could go back to high school, would I take it seriously? Like this book and then later the movie, it really changed that perspective for me at a young age, because it was more, it was less about what if and more of a why would you type of mentality. Like the concept of reality consuming creatures who obviously exist outside of our space and time is terrifying.
It gives me 2 questions. 1, do they have a past? And 2, how would Doctor Who feel about these?
I thought about that. I mean, and it gives new meaning to the phrase, like, you can't change the past. No, it's because they're eating it. Like, it's gone. It was just one of those things where, I mean, I was afraid of ever flying on an airplane because of it.
Well, even the special effects in the movie, like, they're eating, like, the scene in a way. Like, they're at the airport, but they're, like, eating the sky. The scenery is like disappearing,
almost like it was 2D. Like,
it was weird, man. It was
but it just adds into the mentality of like they don't care about our reality. They just
there's nothing you can do against
them. It, no,
at all.
And the scene that always stuck in my head is the guy who goes outside the airport and gets confronted by like 2 or 3 of them and gets devoured. No,
it deserves a remake. We and my buddy were talking the other day, and we're like, the Langoliers deserves a remake or just a continuation. Because I'm not really into a lot of remakes, but let's get a continuation where they just kind of randomly talk about something that happened then, even though the past doesn't exist. Like
it's funny. I just
Stephen King. It's still possible.
I had the same conversation with my buddy out in North Dakota, and I was saying I would love to see Tremors get remade. Those were some of my favorite movies growing up.
Maybe the first 2. They made like 6 of those sons of bitches.
I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, they mean the Sci-Fi Channel kept pumping them out, and then they're like, we're bored. Let's make Sharknado now.
I just think that would be a really cool one to remake, especially with like today's technology and how they could try and.
Yeah, but they might over CGI it. Who knows?
No, I want special effects. I want a real worm.
Damn worms.
But that's my number 9, The Langoliers by Stephen King.
Okay. My number 9 are the Velociraptors from Jurassic Park, debuting in 1997. Who are they? Well, we talked about it already, but the Velociraptors are genetically engineered versions of actual Velociraptors They're larger and don't have feathers. Actual velociraptors are small and they have feathers and they have the weird beaks.
But they talk in the second movie.
Yeah, they have or whatever.
Wake up, Alan.
And then the third one too, they do some.
There's the dream where Alan's on the airplane and he sees a velociraptor. He's like, wake up.
Yeah.
That was one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. But no, please.
Yeah.
Why did they freak you out?
When I was a kid and I saw this for the first time, and Tim and his sister, they're running from the raptors. They're in the kitchen. The raptors opening the damn door.
Yes.
So you have this thing. It's not quite as big as like a bear. It's bigger than a dog. It's smart. It's got that nasty claw to rip your belly open. You know how a cat just like always kicks its back feet that's what a raptor can do to bigger prey. Just like slice you open. So you have this big vicious thing. Its teeth are like alligator. It's like an alligator mouth.
Yeah.
They're super fast. They're quick. And here's the thing. They're smart enough that they will injure somebody to set a trap for more prey. So even if you take out one, guess what? There's probably 3 of them in the high grass or behind a tree. They hunt in packs. They're relentless. All they want to do is just eat you and make babies. That's all they want to do. And yeah, dinosaurs, well, yeah, they're scary. They're big. They're huge. But velociraptors specifically, the way that they are displayed in Jurassic Park, it's like stuff that scares kids because it's PG-13, but it was on the edge. You know, it killed Sam Jackson. Poor Sam Jackson.
He could still be alive. He might have just lost an arm.
I mean, it's possible. I don't know.
But I know what you mean. Like in the book, there's a scene, if I'm remembering correctly, it's been a while, where some of the raptors are outside and they lure them outside so they turn off the fence so they can go through to try and hunt them. Because they knew that by him turning off the fence, it would turn off the electrified grate over the one window on the roof that the other raptor was at, waiting to then tear through it to get in. Like it was
smart. Their intelligence is like on dolphin or more level. Like they're up there.
Those books, I've read that one and The Lost World. First off, very, very different from the movies.
Yeah, well,
my word, are they amazing?
Well, even Jaws is different than Jaws. You know,
Right.
It's you got to make it visually stunning. You know, they could take shotgun blast. Now, I'm not talking about like the raptors later on, like Blue, and you know, oh, we can train you and talk to you. But even part 3, that's not that great. But there's a scene where they're walking in an abandoned, well, it's all abandoned there, but there's like these big giant tubes. And you think that there's like dinosaur specimens in it, and it looks like there's a raptor in one. And in the trailer, that's just what it looks like. But then when you watch the movie,
it's behind it.
Yeah, and you're like, dude, I was like, oh shit. And I saw that as an adult, and I was like, that made me jump a little bit. Like, I ain't screwing no raptors. I ain't probably fighting an angry dog or you know, but I ain't messing with no raptors. Okay, I'm out. Moving on. What is your number 8?
Number 8. I'm moving away from movies a little bit. Video games. The Flood from the Halo video game series. First Halo game came out in 2001. Did you play them?
No, I'm not a video game player. I have seen other people play. I take it back. I've played Halo before, like the first one we talked about when John was on the episode.
Did you play the part with the Flood?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't.
So, all right, what is the Flood? A parasitic alien species that infects and consumes other life forms.
It wasn't the TV show before it got canceled.
Very briefly, but I don't feel like they were doing it justice. I would have loved to have seen that over more than one half of an episode. But terrifying as a kid playing that game. And like you said, a lot of these are going to be as a kid, but they're the things that imprinted on us and stuck with us for a while. The Flood, it literally takes over its host, mutates the host, and it becomes essentially like that of a hive mind. And it doesn't care who the host is. It will take over any species, any race, any, you know,
it
whatever.
zombifies them.
It pretty much. With the sole purpose of, well, like you said with the Borg, basically assimilating, keep expanding, keep growing your numbers.
I did forget to say the Borg are always seeking perfection. That's their goal.
Oh yeah, these are far from that. Yeah, okay. But I remember playing the game.
I had a spider crawling all over my arm. Down here in the man cave.
Nope, I gotta go. I gotta go.
I ain't playing. He's dead now. I mean, I didn't mean to kill him. I wasn't gonna kill him, but like,
Where
I
there's
saw him.
one, there's a million.
Well, we are in a basement.
Great, now I'm itchy. Shh.
Are you afraid of spiders?
I hate. That's the one thing I passionately have. I hate.
I don't like parasitic worms. You don't like spiders. There you go.
Parasitic. Like
Yeah, like
tapeworm?
flapworms and tapeworms. Shit that like gets up inside you.
People pay for those to help lose weight.
Yeah, I've seen 100 Ways to Die, or what is that? The lady gets the pills. She thinks they're like diet pills.
Or what was that snake thing in Prometheus? That's kind of the same idea. It was like
Well, let's not go into the futures here.
Okay, sorry.
We'll stay on
I'm just
track.
saying it's kind of like a leech type.
Yeah,
thing. I guess it doesn't go India though.
too much editing. We got to cut it short. Too many rabbit holes.
So why did I choose the Flood?
Yeah.
Because I remember as a kid playing that game, and that whole section of the game, you go down to like this compound on the Halo ring, and there's nothing. Like you're going through it for what feels like 15 minutes, and it's just empty room after empty room. Like, there's nothing there. And then you slowly start getting into like corridors that have little streaks of blood on the floor. Or you see like a splatter on the wall, and then you slowly get into more of that, and then you find like dead bodies of both the Covenant and the humans. And then I remember it so vividly. You open the one door, and there's an NPC, obviously, a Marine sitting on the floor shooting at you, freaking out, saying like, "Don't get me, don't get me, don't get," like 90% of people's first reaction is they blow him away. I mean,
yeah.
But if you actually listen and let him talk, he goes on about like this thing that took over his partners, and it's not long after that stuff starts coming out of the woodwork. The little crawlers, and then they get bigger, and then they get bigger, and then they get to the big ones, and that might be where my anxiety started.
Now this video game came out around the same time as like the Resident Evil and the Dooms and stuff. Doom was a little bit before, but this is the same time where horror was really taking an upward jump in video games. I remember.
Yeah, it went from jump scares to more of that like anxiety induced. Like, how far can we push you before we finally scare you?
Yeah.
Well, that
I
one
can see
worked.
you shaking your head that, it must have really got to you back then.
That one worked.
Yeah.
Well, it was one of those overwhelming feelings. Like, I know for a fact I do not have enough weaponry to kill all of these things running at me right now.
And you're in space. What are you going to do? You can jump off into space and
Man.
Die?
And then they put it in every game after that.
Well, it struck a nerve. That's why.
You're number 8. Let's get...
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun,
Spiders.
dun, dun, dun. I chose Skynet and its Terminators from the Terminator franchise, debuting in Terminator 1984. Now, most of mine is movie stuff. I didn't, good books or video games. But Skynet is an artificial intelligence created by humans that gain sentience. It was created to save us and help us. And instead, it's like, you know what? We're going to wipe you out because you're the single most threat to us on the planet. And how does Skynet do that? It creates Terminators of various types who can do a lot of different things. Once on a mission, a Terminator can't be bargained with, it can't be reasoned with, and it absolutely will not stop ever.
It's funny. We just did a Terminator series
Until you're dead.
not that long ago, and I didn't even think to put them on this.
What?
I
My
didn't.
Lord.
I was in the mindset of like monsters. I guess I didn't think about androids trying to murder humanity.
So Terminators, if they're stopped and somehow deactivated, but then reactivated, what does the Terminator do? Instantly goes straight back to its mission to kill you. It doesn't care about compassion. It doesn't care about morals. It doesn't care about sex or race. It doesn't matter. If you are a target, it will find a way to murder you. Some, like the T-1000 or Rev-9, can change their appearance, and the Rev-9 can actually split into 2 Terminators, which is really awesome. It can mimic victims to ambush the target. So imagine Terminators are going around crazy everywhere, right? You're like, oh shit, grandma's 2 doors down, right? You get down to grandma. Oh, thank God you're safe, grandma, you're safe. Grandma just murdered your ass because grandma was a damn Terminator.
How's Wolfie?
Yeah, she's dead. Stepmother's dead. Yeah, it's the T-800 and prior models.
I mean, I guess you're right.
Like,
the first like 2 movies were meant to be kind of a horror genre, weren't they?
Well, the first one is a slasher. It's a sci-fi slasher. He goes around killing people trying to get to one person. He's like a techno Jason, which we won't talk about the Jason franchise in the future. Happy Friday the 13th tomorrow. But I mean, think about the T-800 when it like is defleshed, and like the beady red eyes and that
It's
metal
a skeleton.
chassis. It's like a
Yeah.
human skeleton, but it's fucking scary, man. And like it's so hard to like you can kill a raptor. You might be able to get away from the Borg, but like a Terminator, man, just keeps coming and coming. You even saw in one of the last movies, we covered this, that even though they thought they stopped Judgment Day, another T-800 still came and still killed John Connor. Even though Judgment Day was already stopped, it still finished its mission. It killed John Connor in Cancun.
And then he went and did Curtain.
He was about to get his first margarita. Done. Killed him. You know, AI, if you think about, you know, like stories like The Matrix or iRobot, and of course the Terminator franchise, you know, you have this AI that we're dealing with today. And it's kind of like a modern fear that you know how much Google listens to you and how ads pop up on your phone. We were, you know, remember the pandemic and people were going crazy. Oh, they're putting microchips in the virus things, and
Yeah.
don't be getting your whatever, man. People went nuts. That's all I'm saying. QAnon, people went crazy, and the technology is moving way faster. I just saw a video the other day of a new robot that is out overseas that they're only have like a one or two models out, but it's like this butler that like, and they were like, no, this thing is not fake. Like, it gives the lady a cup of coffee, it talks to her. Like, we're on the precipice of some shit, man.
Well, I just saw, I think it was yesterday, that China, is it China or one of the Koreas, I don't remember, refused to sign some type of agreement saying that they would not give their military strategies over to AI. And they said, no, it'll be fine.
Oh, great. So it's
Like-
going to start over there first. That's
like
good to
you're-
know. At least I
Do
know
you
where it's
not
gonna
watch
start.
movies? Art imitates life. Movies are art.
Yeah, I mean, the movies are cool. Like, oh, we have the Asimov rules, and you know they can't hurt a human. Who says that was programmed in? You know, I'm just saying Terminators can be scary, and if anybody's seen a Terminator movie, they should understand that.
I
And
agree.
now, I guarantee you, now whoever's listening to this, check your phone the next couple days, see if you don't get ads for the Tree of Geek Terminator 1 and 2 episodes, part 1 and part 2. Google's gonna be like, hey, listen to that. I wish it did. Oh, we get some
That would be
viewers.
great.
I'm just start talking to my phone all the time about the Tree Geek. I mean, apparently in typing it's not enough. Now I need to speak to it. What's your number 7, Josh?
All right, my number 7 is gonna be slightly controversial.
Defend it. You want to defend it?
I chose the unnamed aliens from the movie Signs.
They're aliens. It's fine.
We'll get through that. First debuted in the movie Signs, 2002. What are they? They're hostile extraterrestrial invaders.
You don't like water.
They're tall, humanoid beings with, I think it was greenish skin, but they looked like what you would think of an alien gray to be, like in real life, like when people talk about grays,
Mhm.
what they think they look like. In my opinion, anyways, it looked a lot like that, but green. Just saying.
I haven't seen it in a while, but I'll tell you, yeah, I'm sure.
They had the ability to camouflage really, really well into their surroundings. They communicate through these crop circles, but they're,
Didn't they do like clicking or something?
yeah, but they're vulnerable to water. Why would you invade a planet that is 75% water?
Wasn't that the same as the War of the Worlds one? Didn't they not like water?
No, War of the
The Tom Cruise
Worlds. I can't speak.
War of the Worlds.
War of the Worlds.
The Worlds, man.
They died because they didn't take into account for our bacteria.
Oh yeah, they got a cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Shouldn't drink the water.
But what really got me in those movies, because I saw it when it came out on DVD, I was not in a hurry to go see an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
I think this is the first time this was my introduction to Shyamalan, though. I didn't know what he did
So,
before this.
I'm pretty sure I saw.
Or did he do the I See Dead People first?
He did, but
Okay.
I saw The Village before I saw this, and that kind of killed his everything for me.
Was that his third movie, I think?
I don't know. It should have been his last, but he went on. He did Signs.
I just saw one the other day.
Finally, I'm like, all right, I want to watch it. Mel Gibson's in it. Like, how bad can it really be? I thought it was an outstanding movie. It was slow paced, but it did a great job of building, kind of like they did in the old Alien, the old Predator movies. They built the
Anticipation. They build
suspense,
it.
yeah, without showing you what it was until over 3/4 of the way through the movie.
The scene where they're all gathered around the TV and
The
they're
birthday party.
yeah, birthday in like Mexico or something, and then you see the alien walk by in the alleyway.
The
You're
first
like,
time,
what?
first time you see it, and because at first you don't really know what's going on.
Do you see before or after he's on the roof? Like when, because at some point you see the alien on the roof. Like there's the dogs barking outside.
Remember now? I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch.
But either way, like it's
the first time you get a solid look at it. But up until now, like you don't fully know what's going on. Nothing has been confirmed about anything. Just weird stuff is happening. And then all of a sudden it's just like my heart dropped. Okay, yeah, that is an alien. That is what is happening right now. And it was just something about that. The fact that they could blend into the environment. That one of their methods of, trying to kill and infect people was that like powdery spray that comes out of their wrist. Okay, first off, that means their weapon is built into them. And they know that we breathe. Kind of a win-win on their part.
What was their point? What were they trying to do?
It never said.
Yeah.
Fan theories are...
That's because they were shooting with squirt guns.
Fan theory was that they were trying to it was an invasion movie. Okay. But yeah, the whole water as a weakness thing kind of really threw me off. But it gave me that classic... I don't know, like a classic alien...
It's like a Twilight Zone
invasion movie. Yeah. Like...
And that 60s feel to it.
Now,
60s,
here's
70s.
where it gets a little controversial, because we said no supernatural. There are many theories.
Yeah, but they're theories. But continue.
You know I'm going?
No, I don't. But I'm just saying if they're fan theories,
there are
it's not in the movie.
That the reason... Because it clearly states that he was a pastor, but he lost his faith. The little girl has OCD with glasses. She leaves glasses of water everywhere all the time. The boy had asthma. The theory was that it was all set up on purpose by an entity because these were actually demons invading Earth, not aliens. They were demons. And that the reason the boy had asthma was to protect him from that spray. The reason the girl had OCD and left glasses everywhere is because even though he was an ex-priest that lost his faith, he still prayed and it blessed the water, making it holy water. Which is why whenever he hit the glasses with the baseball bat, it burnt the demon because it was holy water. It is a very, very real theory that people have. I'm
not saying it's not a real theory, but it's not the movie, so it's not controversial.
They even say at one point, I guess on TV, like they say about how they found an old method or something like that of getting rid of them, and the theory is, like the Vatican used holy water type of thing. But I even have that in my notes.
Did the guys in Detroit use holy water too, or the guys in San Francisco?
I don't know. But I have it in my notes that it is a theory until it's actually confirmed by like
Shamalama Ding Dong.
Yes, I have to go with they're aliens.
Yeah, they're aliens.
They're idiots. They come to a planet that
they're not smart aliens.
It literally rains your weakness.
Don't come to Pennsylvania because every Saturday you're getting rained on, homie.
Dude, no joke.
Every Saturday. I'm sick of this. Fuck, dude.
It's only the Saturdays that you want to have a fire.
No, it's every single Saturday.
But that's mine. I would love to hear people's takes on this because, again, it's a good movie.
I've never heard that before.
Really?
No. Of course, I don't really.
I probably butchered the crap out of it. Look it up. Like people go into like incredible detail where it does make sense. But again, if it's not actually stated, you're jumping to conclusions.
You know why Jimmy didn't stock the damn shelves last night? Because he's too damn busy coming up with science theories instead of doing his damn job.
Dude,
Number 7 has nothing to do whatsoever with religion. It is The Fly, Seth Brundle. We're talking about the one from the 80s, 1986 to be precise. There was one in 1958. This is a remake. But we're talking about the one from 86.
Is that the one that had the guy from Jurassic Park?
Jurassic Goldblum. Yes, Jeff Goldblum is in it.
Okay.
And Gina Davis, I do believe, is in it.
Okay.
There is a part 2 as well.
No, there's not.
Is
it okay?
It's all right.
All right.
It has the guy that used to be Marty McFly before they took him off the movie. The other redheaded guy. So what is this? The Fly from 1986 has a creature that's a result of a molecular teleportation rather. So Seth wants to go from one pod to another pod. He's trying to like make himself better and figure out teleportation, and he's successful. The problem is there was a house fly that flew in there he didn't know about. So when he comes out, he's like, "Oh, I'm good, man. I'm fine." You know, he doesn't realize that the fly's DNA has now mixed with his DNA. So, slowly Seth starts changing. His skin gets nasty. His eyes get weird. When I saw this as a kid, there's a scene where he's in the bathroom and his fingernails acting weird.
No.
And he slowly peels his fingernail off.
Ooh.
And I was like, I was so freaked out as a kid.
That just gave me chills.
Yeah.
Oh.
Even in Star Trek when Dave takes his fingernail off for like the one ship, I was like, oh my God, because of the fly, it freaked me the hell out. Yeah, he goes through this like nasty, again, it's more body horror. You know, it's the result of like his flesh is breaking down, it's morphing, it's becoming grotesque, but he's getting enhanced strength. He can now like climb the walls like Spider-Man.
He just looks hideous.
But as he goes on, he eventually gains the ability that a housefly does, which is it regurgitates this. It's like this acid stuff. Digestive enzymes is what it is. And it like not as crazy as like xenomorph acid, but you puke it onto something and it dissolves it so that the fly can suck it back up. That's what flies do. And this dude tries to fight him and he pukes on the guy's hand. Guy loses his hand. He grabs him, pukes on his ankle/foot. The guy loses, and this shows back up in part 2. But like, yeah, and because this guy tried to shoot him with a shotgun, well, he just like pukes on his arm, and it made my skin crawl as a child. And Jeff Goldblum, okay, he's already terrifying in a way. Like he already has his acting, the way his mannerisms are. In the movie, he's like jolting back and forth with his head like a fly does, like really fast movements. And it's nasty. There's a scene where Gina Davis has a nightmare because she has sex with him, but she has this nightmare that she's given birth and she's like, it's biting me. Oh my God. And the doctor's like, oh my God. And they take out this maggot that she's given birth to. And it's terrifying, dude. Like it's just
what?
There's a reason The Fly is one of the best horror movies ever fucking made, dude. It is like crazy, grotesque horror.
I now know I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah, so it's nightmare fuel. It's messed up and it's unnerving. And the last thing I'll say about this is when he gets mutated, he still has this mind. He still knows who he is. He still has his intellect. He knows who Gina Davis is. He knows who her editor friend that attacked him. And he realizes at the end, when he's trying to like pull her into a pod, like she grabs at his face to get away and she rips his jaw off and the rest of it falls off. And slowly, like he breaks out of his like skin and like you see him as the giant fly creature. He's no longer human anymore. And like his husk is laying there of dead skin and flesh. But then like he eventually realizes like he needs to die. Like he's a fly creature. Like this isn't, so he can't speak to her, which is already, you're stuck in this creature and you can't talk. You can't really communicate. Like you don't got fingers to type or write. So he grabs the shot, or she's holding the shotgun and he like uses his fly arm to like push it to his temple to like signal to her, fucking end it. And she like blows his head off.
Oh my word.
Yeah. Like it's messed up. And that's why it's number 7.
How'd they make a sequel?
Well, because she actually was pregnant.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, Eric Stoltz is the kid.
Yeah.
And he's like super intelligent, grows up super fast. He has this dog there, and these people, the scientists that keep him, also have the teleportation machine. And they're thinking if he's smart enough when he gets older, because he has accelerated life, he just grows up really fast, that they can help him. Well, they experiment on his pet dog. And it comes out like this nasty, mangled creature. And like, it's cool, we'll kill it, it's fine. I'm sorry we did this to your dog. Well, he finds out later in the movie they've kept his dog alive. And he has to like kill the dog. It's like down in this chamber and it's like eating slop that they slide to it. The cool thing is the main bad guy he does that to the guy. So he puts him in the machines and the guy ends up being kept alive in the end. And at the very end of the movie, all like the higher up CEOs and scientists are at the top of like the pit where they keep the creature. And they're like doing studies on the guy that used to like run the entire fucking company, but now he's this grotesque.
Oh man,
they can't talk or anything. Yeah, it's jacked up. It's a jacked up series. But The Fly, is creepy as shit. And that's why I put it number 7. Number 6, what do you got?
Wow, I don't know. We could end there. Wow.
Oh, I think the ones from 6 to there's more terrifying creatures out there in cinema. They're science based.
All right. Well, my number 6 isn't anywhere near that terrifying. It is the Weeping Angels from Doctor Who. First seen in Doctor Who episode called Blink in 2007. They are statues that live in a quantum state that when they're being observed, they are statues. They're stone. They can't move. Whenever they're not being observed, they basically do what they want. They're extremely fast, extremely dangerous, and they feed on potential life energy, which I always thought was just a really cool concept. It's the idea that, like, say I'm supposed to live till I'm 80. By them basically sending me back in time, I no longer get to live the rest of my life until I'm 80 in the future. So they just got, 40-something years of life force energy, even though I'm living in the past. Maybe it's because the Langoliers are going to come.
Maybe.
And the only way to not get ruined by these things, if you encounter them, is don't blink, which, as we all know, is, impossible. I remember watching Doctor Who, and there's not many episodes that creep me out. I mean, there's a few. Some of them are just kind of weird.
What Jenna Coleman's character gets stuck in the Cybermen?
That wasn't creepy as much just sad.
I thought it was weird, like the one dude, like, why is he screaming? Oh, because he chose this way or something, and like they're murdering him again in the afterlife. And you don't know what's going on until you realize that she is a Cyberman.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, the Cybermen, that kind of remind me, like you were saying.
It was more like they were like the Doctor Who Borg type people in a way.
Okay.
I think.
Well, for me, it was one of those things where, like, even though you don't technically die, you still lose the life that you would have had. You have to basically blend into a world that nobody or nothing. Like, you're a nobody. You have nothing. What are you going to do? And it's just...
You don't physically die, but, like, you still lost your life.
Right. And you're going to struggle to survive the rest of your life because you're literally in a completely unknown world to you. Because they don't say how far into the past it sends you. And I think what always got me was the fact that if you encounter one of these weeping angels, it's a death sentence. Simple as that. And they even show in the one episode later, if they're observed at all, they're still in the quantum state. Even with a video camera on them, but they know when you're not looking at them through the video camera. The video camera doesn't count as observing them. You do. It's just a whole cascade of creepiness. Easily my favorite.
They're routinely
monster,
ranked as the scariest Doctor Who.
Are they really?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I don't go in graveyards that have statues of angels.
Or to like Milan or Italy or something that have them on top of all the
gargoyles.
Or even the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah. When is she not being looked at, though? I mean, come on. That was a little rough, but what about you? Number 6.
Number 6. Let's go with the cordyceps from the Last of Us TV series. Now, there is the video game, but I didn't play the video game, so I'm going off of the TV series here.
I didn't even think about them.
Debuted January 2023, Last of Us Season 1, Episode 1 on HBO Max. What are they? Well, that's a very, very long answer, so I'll try to sum it up the best as possible. The cordyceps are brain infections that is implied to be the result of global warming causing mutations in the fungi like cordyceps that are allowing it to thrive in human hosts. So basically, this fungus like infects you, and then it can infect other people too. I guess if you're in like wide open areas like the countryside, like you're good, but if you're in closed spaces and you can breathe this in, like it changes you. Now, that just sounds kind of like a zombie thing, which doesn't like really seem that terrifying. But I challenge anybody to look up actual cordyceps in the animal kingdom.
Yeah.
Now, this is like an amped up steroided version, but look at an ant or a caterpillar or a fly or a bee or something these cordyceps have gotten their fungi little hands on. And all it does is it takes over the host's mind and it drives it to like one purpose, and that is just to spread and spread and spread. Now, what makes this terrifying for this purpose is if you watch the TV show, there are so many different versions of the infected. So when you're first infected, you're viciously strong, you're fast, you can run. They come in swarms. They can, like, if you step on, there's like the roots or something. If you step on one of the roots, like it's all one big giant hived, like connected like a spider web, kind of like the roots system. So like kind of like the main thing can tell where things are at. It tells where victims are coming, where its prey is. But like the grotesque way it transforms onto people, I have an image of each one in mind. And it's the main image of the guy where his whole entire face, like the top of his head, like he has no eyes.
Split open.
Yeah, but it's all like the makeup work they do on that show. Like it's just wild. And like the one that was
wasn't it nominated for special effects?
I think so. Yeah. Like there's a one where he's like kind of like mashed into the wall, but it's still like, even though they eventually kind of morph all the way into this fungus, they can still awaken if you're close by and alert them, and they can rise up and still chase you and try to get you. It's like I said, it's like the viruses from like The Walking Dead on 1,000 steroids. Like this, it's nasty and it's wicked. It doesn't care who you are.
Yeah.
It's just nasty.
So it's like the Flood.
It kind of is like the Flood. Yeah. Only this turns you into like these, like the hard mushrooms you see on like mossy trees and things. It just, the way it makes you.
That was a good show.
Right. And yeah, well, we got season 2 coming out next year.
I don't think I'll watch it.
Why not?
Because I know it happens in the second video game, and if they follow that route as well as they did the first video game for the first season.
This is a different universe, though. They might change up a couple of things.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, you transform within the first 15 minutes. I guess it doesn't affect dogs, though. It only affects humans. I don't think it affects dogs.
I don't remember. Did you see any animals infected?
No. And I don't know. Like, you see giraffes and stuff. They're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just affects humans.
Imagine like a cheetah infected. You're not outrunning it.
No, definitely not. These things are durable as shit too, and it's taken over. It's fucked up the entire world. Like this thing has like spread super fast, and it's just scary because like what makes this terrifying and why it made this list for me is cordyceps are real. Now they're not on this level, but it's a real thing. Like it's hypothetically possible, kind of like the Terminators.
Right.
Maybe not to that extent. That's fantasy.
The building blocks are there.
But if nature did go a certain way, we just went through the pandemic. Like some shit could happen. I mean, there's already been pandemics throughout history of things that have murdered. What if there's something that doesn't murder us but changes us? It's quite possible if it somehow gets scaled up. I don't know. That's why it made my number 6. And just they look creepy as shit. Every single version of those things are just nasty looking.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What about your number 5?
My number 5 is jumping back over to video games. Are you familiar with the Mass Effect series at all?
I've heard of it, never played it.
Okay. I'm probably going to butcher it because it's been a long time, but the basic idea is that there's this race called the Reapers. They're a biological but also technological species. They go through and essentially completely raise a universe. Like systematically, they go through these universes, just wiping them out. I don't remember exactly why. I want to say that they're getting resources. I don't remember. Okay, like you always say, kill me in the comments. But in those games, I think it was in the second one, maybe the third one that they brought it in. There was a creature called the Banshee. It was a race that had been kind of like the cordyceps. A race that had been mutated by the Reapers into the organic, technological, whatever it is now. But the Banshees, they are incredibly fast in the game.
I just looked up a picture of them. Kind of looks like a Borg Queen, the one that
Oh, really?
Here. Yeah.
Like, incredibly fast. I think they can teleport, if I remember correctly. You know they're coming in the game because you hear them screaming. And they're incredibly hard to kill because they, like I said, they're so quick. They bounce all over the place. And I just remember encountering those in the game. Every time I heard that scream, my heart dropped because I'm probably going to die now. And they're hideous.
Yeah, they're twisted looking. They're like They're demonic looking in a way, like demonic
They
techno
almost
people.
they almost reminded me of something that Geiger would have made.
Yeah, it does have some Geiger-ish.
Without all the stuff in
Eager
that game.
Geiger, yeah.
I always wondered if maybe they took inspiration from him for some of that stuff, but yeah.
Some of it also reminds me of Starship Troopers.
Sorry.
Some of the designs.
Debuted in 2007. I forgot to say that. In the first video game, yeah. But it was just one of those absurdly, powerful, quick, almost like the Flood, except you knew this one was coming. It announced itself ahead of time.
I guess what would be terrifying about this, if I were in your shoes, is the fact that like this Banshee, these Banshees, they have the face and it's the mannerisms, and it looks like just the demonic way of it, that it goes up through on the temple and back with kind of the horn looking things. Yeah, it looks like some Geiger or some Clive Barker Hellraiser type shit. Yeah.
Well, and I think of it this way: it's kind of like that scene in The Lord of the Rings when they're running and then they hear the Balrog. Immediately, Gandalf's heart just dropped to his feet. Like he knew what was coming. He knew, crap, this is bad. That's how I felt every time I heard one of them scream.
Run,
fly, you fools!
I was going for Andy from Romulus.
Still, such a good movie.
Yeah, it was 7.5.
I've gone back and watched it again.
Have you?
It holds up. Something about that one, I love it. I don't know what it is, but I just love that movie.
I'm glad you do.
It's probably going to be like eventually rated the worst one in history.
No.
All the ratings I've
so.
seen
It's better than 3.
on like the Alien subreddits, all the people doing the rating charts, almost all of them put that in either the S category for like super awesome or A. And then it's always Alien and Aliens. And then the last one's always Resurrection or 3.
Well, I mean,
always.
You can't fight. I mean, if everybody says it's true, then it's got to be true, I suppose.
But what about you? What do you got for number 5?
Oh, well, how about them Weeping Angels from Doctor Who? Because I put them in at number 5, 2007 episode. Blink, you already went over that. You kind of went over what they are.
Yeah.
So here's a creature you don't get away from. Like you said, it's a death sentence. Other creatures you can shoot. You can't fight them. And once you know they're there, if there's a drawing or if it's on a video or there's some sort of a picture, probably even a Polaroid, if there is a little cherub, I have outside our house right here, a little cherub thing that's by our vent to our dryer, that could potentially be a weeping angel. And there is a way to subdue them, but you need the doctor to help you out. It's some sort of containment deal that he makes, some quantum deal. I had it typed up here somewhere, but basically it's like this chamber thing you got to get him in. But they can take energy from like light bulbs and shit too. Yeah. But but I mean, when you look at them, then you blink,
because if they turn the lights out,
and you hear like the concrete scraping when they're coming at you, but as they come closer, they get more grotesque and angry looking.
Yes,
and vicious. They get fangs. They look mean.
Their nails grow.
Yeah. You can't. How are you supposed to run? Because you can't run. Now, I guess in Doctor Who, you don't really see anybody outright fight them or like blow them up or something. But how could you look away to get the weaponry to even do it? Like as badass as like Schaefer is in Predator, what would he do?
You'd have to have someone else watch it while you do something.
Yes, because there is the one episode where the one person's consistently watching. You didn't watch that season. I think it's either Whitaker or Capaldi, but like they're stuck in a house and it's on a screen, but like they somehow slow down time to where the blinking's slower, like how it's coming at you, but somebody's watching it. Like, I don't know, they do something to slow down the process, but it's okay. But it still like takes them years, I think. I haven't seen the episode in a long time, but it takes them like forever to finally come up with a solution, which is probably the containment thing I'm thinking of.
I really need to go back and catch up.
Poor Rory and Amy, is that her name? Like they just get like those characters are so great and they get screwed over by the angels, like what they did to them. But I found them terrifying because it's one of those things you can't really fight.
Yeah.
If they gaze at you too long, you will become a weeping angel.
I forgot about that.
If they catch you with that certain gaze, you get slowly turned into one of them. So let's go through this real quick. You can't fight them normally. You can't look away and run because they'll catch you. And you can't stare in their eyes too long because you'll become one of them. How in the hell do you defeat something like that? Like that in itself is it's just scary. And then that's probably why all these reasons wrapped together, why they're consistently named Doctor Who's most terrifying enemy. More than the Daleks, more than the Cybermen, more than those grunty looking, toad looking dudes that just want to go to war all the time and think they're Napoleon.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they're just crazy. But you said it, I said it. They made it on both our lists. A couple things have. That's how you know they're badass. Like you can't escape. You're just a human battery. I think that's what you are to them.
Yeah. Yeah, basically.
Yeah. I know you didn't see the one season, but recently one of them did reach out for help for Doctor Who. So that was interesting. And maybe you should go back and watch some Doctor Who.
Is that with Whittaker or with the new
Whittaker.
guy? Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah.
I know I need to watch her, but the few that I saw of her in the beginning, I really did not like.
I'm okay as long as they're not like set in the Renaissance. Whenever they go back to the Renaissance, I always kind of check out of a Doctor Who episode.
Okay.
Like, there's one with like Mary Shelley, but
Yeah.
that one kind of sucked me back in. I was like, oh, this is about the lady that wrote Frankenstein. Okay, well this makes it's the night of how she comes up with the idea. So that was a pretty cool episode.
Oh,
I
okay.
thought. Yeah.
I mean, it kind of sounds like when they did Agatha Christie, but
I don't think anything's gonna beat the Van Gogh.
oh, dude.
God, it's so good. Anyway, number 4. No rabbit holes. Number 4.
Sorry.
No wormholes.
I
No
know.
black holes.
Thinking about Van Gogh now. Number 4 on my list, we are jumping into another gray area. Ish.
I'll tell you if you're right or wrong.
It. From It, first debuted in It, the miniseries, 1990 with Tim Curry. Now, the only reason I say
I
it's...
can't believe you didn't say the book.
Well, yeah, I guess... Crap, I guess it would be the book, yeah.
The book and then the...
Another
Great.
Stephen King.
Yep, more Stephen King.
Shape-shifting
Almost made my
entity whose true form is so inconceivable to humans that it appears as Pennywise the Dancing Clown, which is also good because it helps lure in children.
This thing's like billions of years old from another dimension. It's like it's part of like his Cthulhu type, his version of that stuff. It's like the Ancient Ones is what he's part of,
Yeah.
and it's part of that Dark Tower.
It's
thing.
So that's why I was iffy, because yes, he's technically an alien to us, but he's also like a celestial type being.
Yeah, I
Because they even
it was
say,
too
like,
close to me, so I didn't put it on there, and I'm not afraid of clowns, so I took it off.
well,
But it was
they
close.
even say he's like the yin and the yang to the giant turtle that we ride on the back of, or something.
Yeah,
I know.
Tarrasque in the sky.
Yeah. So it was iffy for me, but
But listen, for some people find it very terrifying. In the new ones, there's some terrifying shit in there. And the original Tim Curry one, like that movie, the miniseries, that terrified generations, like a whole generation. My parents were terrified of that shit. I was underneath my mom's bed one time. She didn't know I was there, and she had her ankles out, and I grabbed it and I said, "Beep, beep, Richie, we all float down here." And God, she went screaming, running down the hallway.
oh my word.
She was so mad at me for days because she was so terrified of that movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta admit, Tim Curry, because I saw that one originally.
I
Holy
just rewatched
crap, amazing. Now, I don't remember the guy's name from the new one.
Oh, it's Skarsgård. And he's going to be
Yes.
in Return to Derry, which is going to be coming out here soon.
He did a
Or Welcome to Derry.
absolutely fantastic job.
Let me tell you something here, Georgie.
I mean, they completely changed the look, but you could just feel that the overall essence of what that character is supposed to be was still there between both portrayals, Tim Curry and him. And I didn't know this, but he's actually the son of the Skarsgård who played in the Thor movies.
All the Skarsgårds are their brothers and cousins,
Well-
and they're all, yeah.
Now I know this.
Well, he just did The Crow that bombed like, horribly.
Oh, I heard that was really bad.
Yeah, so bad.
But yeah, so my big reasoning is the fact that it preys on your fear.
It shows you different.
It uses illusions and its shape-shifting ability to exploit your fear. Like, it literally shows you what you are 100% the most afraid of. And you can't hide
Did
it.
you watch the new ones?
Yeah.
Dude.
Like, you can't hide it. You can't fake it. It sees it and it shows it to you. And then it literally eats it.
even
it
if
eats your fear. Like,
even if it doesn't do the fear thing, when it opens its mouth and shows you the deadlights, all the teeth.
yeah.
I mean, it is terrifying. And if it wasn't for the fact that it was not 100% sci-fi based for me, it would have would have been lower on my list. Because I do acknowledge and I respect the horror that it is. It's an amazing horror franchise. It is. It's great. But I think it just didn't make it for this list only because of the parameters.
See, that's why I was iffy, because
But I mean, you chose it and you defended it.
I always viewed it as it's an alien from another world, because it even says that it came on, I think it was an asteroid or something like that.
Yeah.
So to me, that makes it extraterrestrial.
Yeah, because there's others on lists that show up on.
But like I
as well.
said, like you said, it is a gray area. But that's my my personal defense on it. But yeah, the concept of it being able to eat your fears is.
I mean, you chose the Langoliers, so why not pick Pennywise? I can see why it's on your list.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. But well, no, I guess not.
No.
But like the idea of using your fear and weakness against you to consume it from you, that's both genius and messed up. Like Stephen King knew what he was doing when he wrote this book. I want Freddy to meet Pennywise. Oh, wow. But like I've been tempted so many times to read the book, but I never bring myself to do it.
It's long. My buddy read it last year and he said that it's good, but there's
the child orgy in the
there's
story.
a lot of child stuff in there that shouldn't. Yeah. Let me ask you this, because a lot of times before you leave, we usually watch an epic rap battle. Have you seen the Joker versus Pennywise?
I've not.
We will watch it this evening.
Oh, jeez.
It's a very good one. Yeah.
What's your number 4?
Number 4, I chose Calvin.
Oh,
from Life. I chose Calvin from Life. Yeah, I let you ramble on about it. Dude, it's weird because sometimes you, like I'm just gonna let him talk here.
The ending, meh, but amazingly done.
Yeah, so Kelvin is the main antagonist of the 2017 movie Life. It's a deadly multicellular alien organism that is hypothesized to have wiped out all life on Mars, therefore becoming an apex predator. It resembles a white translucent Sindarian, I think it's how you say it, of some kind. It's kind of like multi-headed in a way. It's got like translucent skin. You can see its circulatory system. It grows larger by absorbing and feeding off of like the crew. It even at one point eats
carbon based.
Yeah, it even eats the coolant and gets bigger. It has superhuman strength when it's super small or decently small. It broke a dude's arm. Accelerated growth. It's human level intelligence. The thing is smart as shit.
Oh yeah.
Extremely durable. Like it was afraid of fire a little bit, but like not enough. It just like held it back for a minute. Very durable. It can suspend animation of itself, like when it's out in the vacuum of space to like survive if it needs to. Like even like when it didn't have any food supply before they found it, like it still was able to come back. So why is this thing scary? I mean, it's just it's an organism. It's fine. It's multicelled and things. How about the fact that it doesn't have eyes anywhere? It's like a worm. It's like a flatworm type deal there, sort of in a way. I mean, it's like an amoeba type thing that just kind of slinks around.
It kind of grew a face as it evolved.
It does towards the very end. Yeah. Not like the very, very end, but like in the last quarter there. Poor Ryan Reynolds, it forces itself down his throat and absorbs his insides and then like comes out of it later. Like it like hides itself.
I can't believe he died so early on in that movie.
Yeah, I was like, man, he's a big player, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Yeah, it just like systematically takes out the crew. Every time they think they have it beat, the thing gets smarter and outthinks them.
Or what about when it was feeding off of the paralyzed guy's leg because he couldn't feel it?
Yeah, and then there's the whole question online, like, did the guy know it was there or not? I thought the guy was trying to let it survive. I thought he did know it was there. I thought he was trying to sneak it through. But either way, like, yeah, it just like absorbs you. And like, I don't know, what's terrifying about this one is it's so tough. The scene at the very end that like you don't like the ending, but when Gyllenhaal, I'll ruin it for people, when they open up the pod and it is slowly absorbing him and he's screaming no because he, like, obviously as you watch it, we're smart enough to know, well, he's the one that's headed to Earth.
Yeah.
Like he's screaming because like he knows, how are they going to stop? Like this thing is unstoppable. Like it already wiped out an entire planet by itself, possibly. And now it's on Earth with a shit ton of food. Lions, tigers, bears. machine guns, don't matter. It's going to eat you. Hand to hand, you're doing nothing. Weaponry aren't doing nothing. Throw it into space, it's doing nothing. Like, what can you do to kill this damn thing?
Nothing.
Yeah. And it's just the way that it killed people, like going down the throat and then slowly absorbing you as it wraps around you. That there's stuff like that you can't, like, if you fight a dog, like, you can see its mouth. You know, fight a tiger, you can see like a shark or something, like, you know, kind of like what you're dealing with. Something like this that's like putty, that just kind of whips around. You don't know, where's its head? Where's its hands? Like, where do I punch?
It would be like being attacked by a carnivorous jellyfish.
Yeah, like, what do you, like, you don't know where to fight. And that scares me. That I don't like those type of things. I don't really have any major phobias. This is kind of like in the gray area of what starts getting me like, hey, now wait a minute. Just hold the phone. I'll wait here and let you guys die first. Let's see how this thing, you know, like, no, I ain't messing with that shit, dude. No. That is my pick.
Again, fantastic movie.
Yeah, it is.
It's
underrated. It's underrated.
It's not I hated the ending. It's I hated the ending. Not that it wasn't a good ending. It's just it made me mad because that's not how I wanted it to end. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it pisses you off because you're like, oh man, like, what's her face is out in space right now, and this thing's about to eat her.
And you know what's happening as soon as she hits that debris. Like,
wow, shit, we saw that coming.
Yeah.
You know. What about your number 3?
So number 3 on my list, I had a hard time with that in number 2. Like, I kept switching them back and forth. I wasn't sure which one deserved that number 2 spot and which one deserved number 3. But I think I got it.
Well, listen, these are all subjective, and they could change spots over time.
That is true. That is very true.
On Thursday, you're scared of Terminators, and on Friday, you're scared of Weeping Angels. I mean, which one's more?
So number 3 is a newer creature. You already know where I'm going.
I don't.
Okay.
This is all new to me.
It is, actually. It is The Offspring, is what they're calling it, from the Alien...
Pretty fly for a white guy?
Alien Romulus movie. He was a white guy. He did technically fly at the end.
All right, let's get into some heights and facts here. 7 foot 14, 9 inches.
So I showed my wife a screenshot of The Offspring, and she's like, no, she didn't want to see it. And then I showed her a picture of the guy who played it, and she honestly thought it was Photoshopped. I'm like, no, this is the dude.
Have you seen the guy like walking around on the basketball court playing? Yeah.
It looks like The Offspring. Give him a tail.
That smile. Whew. All right, this is your pick, not my pick. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, so The Offspring from Alien Romulus, 2024. If you haven't seen it, go see it. I think it is a phenomenal flick. It is, all right, so who and what is it? It is a...
Spoiler, this is a new movie. So, spoiler alert.
Okay.
If you've not seen Alien Romulus and you don't want to be... And you haven't seen the millions and millions and millions of the things on the internet, explain this to you.
Skip ahead 5 minutes.
Yeah. Come back.
Okay. They had their chance. You ready?
Yep. Here we go.
All right. So who and what is it? It is the terrifying result of mixing what appeared to be facehugger / xenomorph DNA with human DNA of a fetus. Do you like that? I wrote that, not ChatGPT. I wrote that. Resulting in a creature resembling human, xenomorph, and engineer.
I want to point out that it was kind of cute when you first see it, you're like the little baby.
So
nugget, like, oh, it's such a cute little nugget, but that's gonna murder her.
I have gone back and rewatched, and if you pause, it looks like a baby engineer in there.
Yeah, it looks cute. Because I've seen this twice. I'm like, oh, it's such a cute little nugget, but it is gonna murder everybody, or at least try.
So why did I choose this? So okay,
that smile. It's gotta be the smile. Is that why you chose it?
Well, let me just say, the first time you see this thing, it is crouched down in that hallway with like one arm up on the wall, one arm on the ground. And it's just staring. I can't get over enough. Like, this is the first time in probably, I'm going to safely say at least 20, 25 years that a movie creature actually really gave me chills. Now, maybe not for you, but the fact that like at first I didn't even see it.
It's creepy looking.
It
I'll
took
give it
like
to
a
you.
split second for me to actually be like, oh, geez, right there it is. And then the way it moved, the way it just everything about it. And then that, like you said, oh, that smile. Okay, so I did a little research on this because I love paranormal. I love aliens, all that fun jazz. Shout out Mysterious Universe. Best podcast there will ever be, in my opinion. What can I say? They have mentioned it before. It's a thing called the uncanny valley. It is a psychological phenomenon that has been studied in people that essentially describes the intense feelings of uneasiness that people get whenever they see or experience, you could almost say humanoid or human-like creatures that aren't quite humanoid.
I've heard of this, yes.
It's the same feeling a lot of people get when they see very humanoid-looking androids moving and talking, like Megan. Or, probably the butler you were talking about.
Or iRobot or any of those movies.
Yeah, and the Uncanny Valley, it's describing the actual feeling people get in real life from things like that. And that's 1,000,000% what I felt here. Like, I didn't know how to feel about this thing. Like, it legitimately made me uneasy sitting in the theater. Now, rewatching it, I look forward to it. I love it. It's great.
Well, it just when it crawls up and to sniff its mother.
The scene that gets me the most is when it's right in her face, starts sniffing, and she pushes it away, and then you can see its face kind of get a little more serious. It's like, dude, you just fucked up.
Yeah, you just pissed it off, man. This is a baby, and now it's an angry baby. Well, guess what? Guess what angry babies do?
Cry.
Eat their moms.
Eat their moms.
Yeah.
So
was it like sucking the life out of her? Like,
so I've read online.
Onto her?
Some people are like, oh, it was sucking, the life out through her neck and stuff, and other people are like, no, it was 100%. And Fighty Alvarez, I guess, confirmed it. It was meant to be breastfeeding, but sucking like literally everything out of her.
Well, instead of just, why take one little meal when you can just have the whole entire, kit and caboodle, just eat her all, just, yeah. Well, I mean, you think about it though, it's kind of like if you want your offspring to survive, then after birth, it'd be kind of cool if you had a creature that died directly after birth, only for it to be eaten by the offspring. That's, I need to work that into a creature somewhere or something.
But then I also read theories. Well, how I've said many times, I want it to be a one and done. And it's been about 5 minutes. So if you're tuning in, jump another few minutes ahead. I'm not done yet. But there are theories that in the video, we see them inject the mouse. They crush it, and it literally regenerates and comes back. Well, we never see what she does with Kay's body. And there are theories that she put it in a cryotube to preserve it so she can properly bury it when she gets to
wherever,
a special place. And that's how they're going to kind of bring it back, not officially bring it back as the offspring.
Oh, Wayland Yutani's getting a hold of that.
But they're going to bring back a whole nother type of monster. She's going to regenerate as something else.
I'd forgotten that in the scene in Life that also has the mouse.
Oh,
where Kelvin is curious about what the mouse is, and the mouse bites it. And he pisses Kelvin off, and he wraps around it and absorbs and eats the fucking mouse.
My theory is that they could have gotten along with him if they would have just left him alone. He didn't break the dude's hand until he shocked it. He didn't attack the mouse until it bit at him. He didn't attack Ryan Reynolds until he pulled a flamethrower out.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just saying. And at that point, it was too late. Okay. Yeah. But
we can just be friends.
Dude, real quick rabbit trail on this one. The most disturbing death in that movie, Life, was when her coolant system breaks in the spacesuit and she literally drowns. That was so messed up.
Yeah.
But yeah, the offspring. The offspring. And when that thing's face comes bursting through the debris and it's all torn up, dude, that's nightmare fuel. Like,
its long legs. It's like walking on the long legs, and then it stands up and gets to that. Is he 7'9", 7'7"? 7'7".
Which, with the prosthetics, it probably put him closer to 7'9" or higher because...
Yeah.
Again, look up the dude who played him. It was all practical effects, and it was... That guy's got a career in monster business.
Yeah. they need things like that in sci-fi and horror, and
He could play a 7-foot tall predator.
an 8-foot tall
A
predator.
12-foot predator.
Well, I mean, he's the thing with this dude is like Kevin Peter Hall, the guy who played the first Predator. Like he was tall, but he still had a little bit of muscle.
Yeah.
Some of the guys that have done other ones are like pretty built.
Dude, this guy's all stick.
Yeah, dude, his like thighs are as big as my arm. Like they're not very big.
He was taller than the alien queen. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I love the theories. There's theories that there was other alien queens somewhere on that ship that could have somehow survived.
Because they didn't explore the whole ship, so for all we know, but I don't know.
Yeah, but anyway, great movie. 7.5. Go see it.
8. That's my number 3. What's your number 3?
Number 3 for me is The Long One. It is from the movie Slither.
Oh.
Done by James Gunn.
I have purposely avoided that movie in my life.
You've never seen it?
No.
There's a reason it's number 3, buddy.
I know too much about it. Again, people, I'm not a horror fan.
The Long One is a mysterious parasitic alien and the only one of its kind, supposedly. It's traveled across the universe in search of life forms to kill and feast upon. It exists as most parasitic forms, working like a conscious disease. It arrived on Earth by way of meteor, of course, into a fictional town. It has 3 different modes. It has the needle, it has like the womb, and then it has the slugs. The slither slugs.
Is that the little ones that you always see?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what happens is it comes down as the needle in like this little gelatin form. It shoots a needle like into somebody, and then it goes up into your brain and like takes control of you. You don't lose yourself completely, but kind of mostly. So this main guy, he like tries to protect his wife sort of at the end, but he gets this chick and he instantly like feels like he has to breed. He gets like these tentacles that come out of his. Now it's played by Michael Rooker. Again, why not have a creepy guy play a creepy creature dude, right? These tentacles come out. He injects this woman with them. She becomes what's called the womb. She gets like, you remember the chick from the Charlie and Chocolate Factory that blows up?
Yeah.
She gets like that, just huge, and she's just so hungry and just keeps feeding her raw meat. He's going to the grocery store just buying all this raw meat. He's slowly starting to transform into this grotesque creature. He gets like this whip tentacle that chops a cow in half in one shot. And he's like slithering these tentacles around in this field as the cop, like Nathan Fillion and the cops are kind of looking after him. He's just deadly, man. He's just deadly.
Wow.
So she gets this massive, huge, like just nasty. Look, I'm so hungry. And then she eventually gets like burst open, and like thousands of slither slugs come out. They go chasing to the town, attacking people. They crawl up you. They jam yourself again down your throat, because that's the theme here. Just jams
Is this
down
a
your
metaphor?
throat. I don't know. They don't like take over your whole like it's not as much as like the main host, the long one guy, but they become like drones. People bleed from their mouths because this thing has like forced itself down your throat, and like you're bleeding now. One girl's able to like get one out, and she killed it with a hair straightener. But I mean, you can get them out. I mean, it's that they're super hard to fight off, and there's swarms of them, kind of like it wasn't the flood from what are the worm things from Halo that were everywhere? They were crawling all over things.
Oh, I don't remember what they're called.
It was like those things.
In the games, they kind of form into one big soldier-like brute, but...
Oh, they don't do that, but they do slither around everywhere, and they leave this slimy trail, and it's nasty. And, like, so these drones, they get more drones so that they can come to Michael Rooker's monstrous form and merge with him into this giant, massive, mutated creature who decides to play some, like, Barry Manilow love songs for his wife so he can breed with her. See, you still have some of your consciousness still there. Like, it decides, like, it doesn't really want to kill her or eat her. It just wants to breed with her. But that's its purpose. It just wants to go to a planet, breed, and take over, and then move to another planet. Like, that's all it does. And it's just... it's what's nasty about and scary about this one is just their grotesque nature of it. I don't like I said, I don't like the worm thing. So the slither slugs, the slugs are what got me on this one.
Right.
Like, and why does every alien creature got to fucking face or throat fuck you? Like, why, dude? Why does that have to be a thing?
We know the face huggers did it because it was purposely a metaphor to kind of go with a lot of Geiger's work.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't, and that's why Ash also tried to shove a porn magazine down her throat.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just creepy himself. But
a little bit.
Yeah, these things they just make my skin crawl. I make it like the fact that they can just like get up in you and just do what they want, and then you have to go like merge with this giant thing, and like you're being melted, and you're all like this part of this hive mind, but it's not like this cool drone like thing with the Borg where you can kind of still go woo, 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 and move around. Like you're just now part of this gross ugh. It's a gross, nasty, scary movie, and everybody should watch it. And it's not a 7.5. I would give that an 8.5 or a 9 for a horror movie. It's fucking. I've seen it a few times. It's funny and it's nasty, and I love it. What about your number 2?
Sorry, I was just taking notes on another movie to never watch.
Oh, it's a fun movie though. It's a fun watch. It's hilarious. It's so funny.
Like The Fly?
No, The Fly's not really. Dude, I forgot to tell you about this scene. So he does the teleportation and he goes into a bar, gets this altercation with this guy, and the guy wants to arm wrestle him. And the dude's trying to fight, and he's like built, and he's like Jeff Goldblum, like he's fucking Jeff Goldblum. He didn't. I mean, he's in shape, but like, well, he ends up like snapping the dude's fucking arm.
Oh my word!
And then like him and Gene Davis race out of like the bar, and she's like, "Oh my god, what are you, like a bodybuilder?" And he goes, "Yeah, I break them down and rebuild them." And like she doesn't find it funny, like, but he looks like, "Oh, that was supposed to be funny."
That is good, actually. I like that.
Yeah, but even that scene as a kid where he just snaps the dude's fucking arm, his forearm, I was like, "Oh, what the fuck?" Because you hear like the cracking of it. It's like, oh, it's shit like that that like unnerves you. If you're sitting there watching a movie, like I was watching Slither, and I'm just like moving around in my chair, like, oh, like,
well,
no.
When I was watching Life, and yeah, I mean his hand's getting crushed, but then when Calvin like snaps his finger back,
yeah.
I mean, I cringed.
Yeah, if it makes you cringe, if it makes your skin crawl, if it makes you, like Emily, a lot of times we watch a movie, she puts the pillow up and she kind of looks at me instead of the screen. She's like, "Tell me when it's over." I just laugh, you know? Like, I find all this stuff funny, but I still, humor's a way to push away fear, you know? And, yeah, ugh.
Jeez.
Number 2, what do you got?
Number 2, The Thing. From The Thing.
Which one?
Debuting in the movie The Thing, 1982.
What about the black and white version before it?
There was a black and white version before it?
Yes, this was a remake.
I'm sorry. I thought that this was the original and then the prequel was the remake.
No, there was this is John Carpenter's remake of the black and white one from way back in the day.
I did not know that. And I'm now mad because when I Googled when did The Thing originally come out, it gave me 1982.
Well,
was it the same name?
Yeah, The Thing.
Really?
Uh-huh.
I'm going to have words with Google. It is a shape-shifting, parasitic alien organism that can assimilate and perfectly imitate other life beings, making it nearly impossible to detect. Are you noticing a pattern here? Lots and lots of these are parasitic, and they like to assimilate.
Dude, we don't like shit in our bodies, so we don't like to be changed. Continue. Keep going.
Why did I choose this? The answer is actually very simple. Because not only is it a hideous, hideous creature, I mean, like...
Did you watch this movie?
The 1982, not the prequel, and apparently not the original.
Prequel's pretty good.
Like, not only is it's absolutely hideous when it shows itself, but it gives you that nonstop anxiety and uncertainty of, like, most of the first time watching it, I don't know who it could be.
Dum dum.
Like, it's like playing the game Clue.
Dum dum.
You think you know, but you don't.
Dum dum. That soundtrack. Dum,
oh
dum.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Dum,
I mean, like,
dum.
the first time I watched it, I remember, oh, the dog. And I'm the type of guy who like, oh, I hope nothing happens to the animal. Oh, never mind. Something happened to the dog. A little bit. Well, and the other issue with that was it made it really difficult to ever trust any one character in the movie. Which I was also reading, apparently one of the big things they tried to do was provoke paranoia through the inability to know who's who. Like they wanted to make sure that the thing was a secret for the most part until it revealed itself, because it was kind of like the earlier movies where they didn't really show the villain right away. They wanted you to guess. They wanted
you just know everything now. Like you just know. Like, oh, Jimmy Johnson's in the movie, or fucking Billy Joe Bob. Like he's a huge star. Well, he's definitely this person. You know what I mean? Like, you know by casting now who the bad guy is.
And that's why watching that movie Life, I was so surprised that Ryan Reynolds bit it.
Yeah, was he the first? He was the first to die.
Yeah. But it honestly surprised me because, like...
I thought he'd be like 3.
I mean, yeah, there's Jake Gyllenhaal, but I mean, there's definitely 2 characters. I didn't know who they were. I thought they were first. And yeah, he probably got paid really well for it.
Oh, yeah.
Any creature's ability to mimic or camouflage or infiltrate society as a whole, it kind of freaks me out. Like a very close on my list, it didn't make it, but it almost did, were the aliens from They Live. Because it's the same idea. Well, that's not a scary movie at all. It's the idea that anyone around you at any point in time could be something completely different than what you think.
I am here to do 2 things. And that is to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
So many people use that and don't know where it's from.
I think, you know, I'm going to get killed here, but I honestly don't think it's that great of a movie. I did a rewatch through my journey here, and I'm like, you know what, this is...
No, it is
not that good of a movie.
It is not that well done at all.
Nothing happens for
the whole middle
45 minutes of that movie.
No, yeah, he goes to the slums. That's what happens.
Yeah,
but
he gets a job out of constructions. Like that's about. But no, you don't like nothing. No alien like activity like really happens for the first half of this movie.
The overall premise is what's supposed to get you, which I like to think that this was a precursor to 1984.
Yeah.
But yeah, I put the Thing in at number 2 because, damn, if that thing isn't creepy.
Okay.
And I do remember seeing, I mean, I was in my teens when I finally watched that movie, and yeah, that creeped me out hard.
I mean, it made number 2 for you, so it's got to be icky.
And I still think that in Terminator 2 Judgment Day, when the grenade blows up the T-1000, that is a reference to the Thing. The way the body is shaped and everything with the head off to the side, I swear to you, they did that on purpose.
Yeah, well, I mean, right there, too, when I had my Terminators on the list, that scene there was terrifying. Seeing the T-1000 do that, and the screaming that it did as they're trying to kill it at the end. Like, that's a machine doing that. But isn't it a machine? Is it not? It's liquid? Ugh.
If you want to hear our full thoughts on that, go back a few episodes. We did a 2-parter on all of the Terminator movies. Absolutely not the show.
The entire fan. Well, I mean, we mentioned it.
Yeah, we did. But all 6 movies, it's a 2-parter, 1 through 3, and then 4 through 6. Check it out, get our opinions, and let us know how wrong we are.
On all platforms.
Yeah, sure it is. How about you, number 2?
Number 2. Okay, now I broke this. There's 3 things here. However, they're closely connected. They're kind of offshoots of each other.
I'll allow it.
The facehuggers, the trilobite, and the hammerpede. You're like, what the hell am I talking about?
Oh,
the
self-abortion creature.
Yeah.
Thingy.
So, I mean, basically, it's all under the umbrella of chemical A03959X.91-15.
Say that 3 times fast.
Here we go. Yeah, so basically, I'm choosing the chemical here because of what the chemical does, but I'm choosing these specific creatures. Now, I'm not... The xenomorphs themselves are scary. These things are a little bit different. Now, I'll talk about the hammerpede first, because it's not exactly like the other 2.
Is this why you cut me off earlier when I started talking about that?
Maybe.
When I mentioned it, when you said about anything inside of you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember, but sure, maybe.
Okay.
So this chemical in Prometheus gets spilled on the ground. It's from the engineers. It's their black goo. It morphs the worms that are on the ground, and it creates what... Now, I just learned that these are the names of the creatures, but it creates what's called the hammerpede, which kind of has like the tail of the face hugger, but it has a cobra-like head. The guy's like, oh, what is this thing? And it wraps around his fucking arm. It snaps his arm. It breaks into his helmet, and it jams itself down his fucking throat. Gestates and hangs out in his stomach until later on, when they bring the body back, it bursts out of his fucking stomach. The thing, okay, it's like a snake with no face. It's got these fang-looking things. It's super strong. It's slithery. I don't like it. The other one...
Tell me how you really feel.
Creepy, man. Just straight freaking creepy. Now, the other one is the trilobite. And you're like, what the hell is a trilobite? So if you saw Prometheus, you saw that Shaw got pregnant. She banged her boyfriend who had the chemical that was mutating him and he didn't know.
And she wasn't supposed to be able to get pregnant.
No, she wasn't. So it starts gestating. David has to cut this thing out of her. David, the creepy android. Surprised that none of these androids made a list anywhere. But I don't know. Whatever.
That is true.
So it cuts it out of her. This thing gets in, like, grows super fast, turns into this giant starro squid octopus thing that's similar to a face hug, only massive. Now, the engineers are already big dudes. They're like way bigger than humans. This thing attacks an engineer, and he's fighting it off for a minute pretty well. There's something to me when a predator like kills another predator in a way. If you watch Lake Placid, a grizzly bear gets eaten by a crocodile. That's fucking creepy, and it shouldn't happen. Okay? It's weird shit. Like, I saw this video where a jaguar gets attacked by an alligator, and like 2 minutes later, like the jaguar's like holding the alligator with a death grip, and the alligator can't get away because now the jaguar's gonna fucking eat you. Like, that's just weird. Seeing Predator on Predator shit, and we already know that the engineers are super tall, they're super strong, they fucking fucked up androids, like they don't give a shit. This trilobite subdues it with these, like, it shoots out these already has massive tentacles, but it shoots out these other, like, holding mini tentacles, and then it jams itself down the engineer's throat, which eventually pops out what looks like the very first xenomorph, like a precursor to all the xenomorphs that we know. Which leads us to the face huggers. The leader of this fucking pack here. Through evolution, like, this is the one to where you get to the xenomorphs. These crab-like things with acid blood, with a tail that can wrap around your throat, puts you in a coma, it face bangs you, it implements, like the trilobite, it puts a little baby embryo down in you that will then rip itself out of your body, like a belly burster, a chest burster, all these different bursters are all because of the fucking face huggers. Now, yeah, xenomorphs are scary, but you can see what they are. You can see them running at you. The face huggers are just nasty looking, and they're super quick. And you know by just watching Alien Romulus how wicked these suckers can do in packs.
Because we've never seen anything like that.
And I think Romulus helped me put these guys high on the list. Face huggers were initially just what I was going to do, but I was like, you know what? These other ones are kind of, they're like the cousins of the face hugger, so I got to just include them. But basically, this is just the face hugger. It can subdue a predator, a human. I assume it would probably do it to an engineer as well. Not Darkseid in the comic. He stopped one and crushed it with his hand, but whatever. We'll see what the Avengers do with them. You read it. I still need to read it. Well, we can talk off mic about it, but I just find them super creepy. The very first Alien movie, when that pod opens and it leaps at what's his face,
John Hurt.
Like, oh man. And even in Spaceballs. Not again.
Hello, my honey.
It's just, a lot of people are afraid of spiders. Why? Because they got them legs and then
No, just because they.
And that's what this does.
They can just go fuck themselves.
They just they do that too. Like you
hate.
So you understand where I'm coming from with the face huggers, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And then crawl up walls. Their tail's a spring and can fly at you. They're super fast. They're relentless. They don't want to, like, they just, what's cool about them is at least after the face bang you, they die.
This is true.
Yeah. That's their life cycle. Maybe, I'm not sure why the xenomorph when it pops out doesn't just eat it. Maybe, it's too spicy. A lot of acid, I guess. Acid reflux. But yeah, I'm putting these three together.
That would just be considered rare to it.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so you're putting all
that's my
three
number
together.
2. Yeah, but basically face hugger ish shit is my number 2.
Okay.
I mean, you got how many alien movies now? I think a lot of people agree the face huggers are creepy as shit. They're scary. They are fucking scary.
I just saw a post on Reddit the other day, and it said very simple: would you rather face down a xenomorph or a face hugger?
Fucking xenomorph, bro.
Everybody, almost everybody's like, put that second mouth through my face, buddy. Like, I do not want anything to do.
Yeah, face hugger gets you and puts you out.
Yeah, but sometimes xenomorphs drag you back to their house and put you in the fridge.
Yeah. At least, like, because you know what happens after the face hugger. What's gonna happen is that your fucking ribs cracking as this thing's trying to escape you. At least have an alien, the xenomorph version of, like when that second mouth just bursts through your skull, you're dead.
Yeah.
I'll go, thank you for the quick death. This face hugger just gave me now, and depending on what movie you're in, how long the gestation period goes for. And the thing is, the face hugger jumped on a dog in 3 or on buffalo, ox. Yeah, but in the version I saw, like that Rottweiler got it. A fucking Rottweiler got nailed by a fucking face hugger. I can't fight off of Rottweiler. Can you? Apparently a face hugger can.
I wonder how
what chance do I got?
Didn't bite the face hugger's tube off.
I don't know.
I will say, without any spoilers, there is a pretty cool scene with the face hugger in that Alien versus Avengers comic. And what happens is awesome. So I can't wait for you to read it. I actually really sadly, it's like right where they end. So you don't 100% know like how they're going to play some stuff, but it's pretty awesome.
Somebody put together like a claymation, or not, it's more like a robot chicken type thing with like action figures where Wolverine's on the ground and there's an alien queen next to him and an egg. And he wakes up, he's because after the chest bursts out of him, and he wakes up, he's all angry, and the alien the xenomorph just slaps another face hugger on him, and he passes back out. And he gets up and he does it again, and then slaps another face hugger on him, and he passes back out again. So it's just like the perfect, and there's comics in the Brood, they got in him and they burst out of him, and he survived it all. But the fact that the alien would just use Wolverine repeatedly as a perfect host.
Amazing.
I have a host that never dies.
I almost put the Brood on my list, but I'm like, it's too close to the Alien franchise. But
yeah,
that's awesome. I even asked you a couple weeks ago after we saw the movie, like, who do you think would be worse, to have Wolverine or Deadpool get face hugged?
Well, I think it'd be funny to see if any of the idiotic traits went into the xenomorph from Deadpool. I think the Wolverine would just be more angry. And what happens when you have a xenomorph with the healing factor of either of them? Like,
I don't know.
Yeah.
So you'll see a xenomorph come charging at you, and then it'll stop and look at the camera. It'll whisper, "Resurrection." All right, are you ready?
Number 1. We're gonna do it now. You get to give your number 1 first.
I do.
So I get final say. What do you got?
My number 1 is xenomorph, but not just any xenomorph. I'm looking at Big Chap from the original Alien movie, 1979.
The original Alien.
The original Alien, the first one we ever saw.
He's just a basic alien. Wasn't nobody even special. Just Jimmy. Jimmy the alien.
Yeah, it was Big Chap.
Is that what they called him, Big Chap? Is that like a behind the scenes thing?
Oh yeah. They actually called him Big Chap behind the scenes as a reference for like dudes coming through fully costumed, like, hey, we need to move this rig so Big Chap can get through. Other than saying like, so the costume can get through.
Oh, no shit.
And it just kind of stuck.
Big Chap.
So if you look it up, that's what you'll find is the original Alien.
Why was this not brought up when we did the entire Alien franchise?
I don't know. I thought I did. I'm sorry.
No, maybe you did and I didn't notice.
If you want to know more, go back and listen to Face Huggers Anonymous.
Dude, that's a good series. We did great on that one.
That was fun. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, we rambled a lot.
Getting to rewatch all those was awesome. We did. We're rambling all right now.
That's okay. We're coming at the end.
So I picked the xenomorph, specifically Big Chap, the first alien that we see. So who or what is it? And I had to put this. It is the perfect organism. I mean, come on. You have to. A xenomorph is a highly aggressive creature. It has a biomechanical appearance, acidic blood, and a life cycle that requires a living host to gestate their young. And like we said, it could take hours, like John Hurt, or literal minutes, like some other movie.
Literally minutes.
Okay, I actually know what the word literally means. All right, I literally can't.
I literally can't.
Xenomorphs are known for their adaptability, their speed, strength, and this was my favorite part. This was ChatGPT, by the way. And their relentless pursuit of prey, making them one of sci-fi's most iconic and dangerous monsters. But I have to agree. So why did I pick it?
As number one.
As number one.
The most terrifying creature in all sci-fi to you.
Yes.
Why?
Because Big Chap, we didn't see him for over half of the movie. It was that unknown that just played, it just wreaked havoc on my psyche. Now, like I even said, I didn't watch this movie till I was a little bit older. I mean, I don't know, I think I was late teens probably. Early teens. I'll have to go back and listen to the Alien one so I can
Well, you didn't watch it in 79, I know that.
No, I did not. But the fact that we never actually saw this thing until the end, it completely screwed with my head. And then on rewatches, you do see it. And the chains hanging up in the ceiling, in the background, and
That's
some
the
of the
best scene right there with the chains.
But I mean,
And it's such a simple scene.
it's one of those movies that they did such a good job, not just cinematically with it, but you know they're looking at it thinking like, okay, what's the most screwed up way we can do this to mess with people? And it worked. I mean, even years later, there's scenes where I'm like, oh, I didn't even notice that before.
Well, it was really nice too. Well, I mean, we did the behind the scenes stuff, but like to try to make sure it didn't look like a guy in a suit to keep him in the shadows.
Yeah.
It just added to the benefit of the film. And the cat just sitting there staring at this dude getting murdered.
Yes.
And I think the second best part is when it's like hunched, when it's like built in to the side of the ship and the escape pod, and you don't. The first call, like if you don't actually look for it, even though that I know it's there on rewatches, I still sometimes forget that it's there.
Yeah.
Until the camera moves. There's a certain cue that in all horror movies now, unfortunately, it's a tell. You already know what card's gonna be laid. It tilts to a certain way or it refocuses a certain way, and you know something's behind the main character. But even like on rewatches now, I'm just like, oh shit, I forgot. Like I've seen this 50 times, and it's amazing how it comes out of there.
Well, and that's something
that makes it creepy as shit.
Well, so and that's something I love because they didn't really utilize that much in any of the other movies. The like camouflage in plain sight until Romulus. There's a scene where they're looking at a security camera of a hallway, and she's like, "Do you see it?" And then they show the screen, and I didn't notice it until it moved in the one corner of the screen. Like they went back to that, and I've said it in the episode that we talked about with Alien Romulus. They went back to that claustrophobic, overly dark feel that just it hit hard.
When I heard Alien was hitting another movie, I was like, oh man. And then they said Fede Alvarez is doing it, and I was like, sold. I fucking bought my ticket right now, man. I knew he was going to do well. Not quite an 8.
Yeah, that is my number one. It's a solid 8. That's my number one. And the other thing too with me is the Xenomorph. I mean, it spans movies to comic books to video games to books. Like, I just bought a trilogy that supposedly, I don't know exactly where it fits in, but it follows a Xenomorph like situation on a whole nother ship. I'm excited to read it actually, but it completely changed how cinema did ETs, extraterrestrials. Like it really pushed that body horror and parasitic nature on, I think, pretty much everything we talked about.
Well, everybody tried to imitate it. And I'm telling you right now, going through my horror journey, there's so many really, 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 really shitty sci-fi horror movies that try to imitate Alien.
Really?
That are so bad.
Wait, really?
Like really bad. When you said to me, I might get into sci-fi horror. And at first I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. And after you left, I was like, oh no, he's going to watch some of these movies. Oh no. So I tell you what, if there's a movie that you think you want to watch, I will tell you if you should watch that movie or not, because if you're going to watch the beast within or whatever the hell it's called. Like, just don't do it, man. Just don't do it.
Well, how many times have I text you at night and like, hey, I need a movie to watch?
Well, I would never give you one of these.
Well, whatever you recommend is what I put on, and so far they've all been great. Civil War especially, that was such a good movie. But
Haley Spaney, man, and I didn't even like at first until doing the research. I was like, oh, that was the chick from Civil War
and Alien Romulus,
Yeah, good,
great.
So that was your number one.
That is my number one. I will always stand by Big Chap. I feel that the Xenomorph in general is a staple of the horror and the sci-fi community. Without it, I don't think we'd have most of what we have today.
Well, I cannot argue that the Xenomorph is not
And
scary.
it will beat up whatever your number one is.
Bullshit. Yeah, I knew this was going to come up. I chose The Thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I chose The Thing. We already went, 1982. So The Thing is an extremely hostile, shape-shifting extraterrestrial organism. It's the primary antagonist of The Thing. It's prequel. And this is a remake, but we're going to go with the Carpenter one. The original physical characteristics of The Thing are unknown, as it could have assimilated hundreds, if not thousands, of species before it. Who is it? What is it? The single creature mind-fucked me when I was around 9 or 10. I saw this before school one day. I was with the lady, our neighbor. She had a satellite dish, so she had a bunch of VHSs. She was always watching movies. I was sitting there eating my cereal she had on The Thing. I didn't know what it was. It's the beginning of the movie. Now, I only get to see the first, 20 minutes, half hour of this before I got to go to school, go to walk to the bus stop. It's in the middle of winter, too, by the way, which is really cool because it's cold as shit. This movie's in fucking...
Right. Alaska,
Arctic, Antarctica,
something.
whatever. And the dog scene happens. Terrified me. Absolutely terrified. I mean, these poor dogs. What is this creature? What the? For years, this thing lay dormant in the back of my mind because I didn't see it in full for a couple years later, probably 5-6 years later. But this thing was always in the back of my mind. Whenever I see a horror movie or something that creeped me out, I always thought about that weird ass creature. And it would just creep back in whenever it felt like, just to give me some chills down my spine. There's an argument to be made that this could be the number one horror movie ever made. A lot of people might say Alien. You can say you're psycho, bullshit, whatever. The Thing is phenomenal beginning to end. The acting, the special effects, the plot, it's just all great, man. And I don't even give a shit if it's a remake.
Well, that was one of Kurt Russell's early movies, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Early.
Well, I mean, he's been acting since he's a early teenager, actually. But
Oh, really?
But
okay.
This is one of the ones that springboarded him into being
That's what I mean.
Kurt Russell. Yeah. To me, every single scene with the alien creature is terrifying in it. Every time you see it show itself in a different form, when they go to do the paddles on the guy and it turns into a mouth and bites the dude's hands off, when they're testing the blood and then the crab creature that it turns into, what it does to the dogs. And then you didn't see the prequel, but it does some really terrifying thing. There's this guy being absorbed and he can't fight it off and he's screaming to death as he's being absorbed by the thing. And then it turns into this two-faced, upside down creature that I think would rival, honestly, The Offspring in its appearance.
Wow.
It's now a lot of people the prequel is not that good. It's not as good as the original. It won't be, but I still think it's a pretty badass movie. I just think, this thing, it steals your persona. I could be it right now, knowing exactly who you are, but you don't know I'm the thing. It knows your memories, it knows how to infiltrate, and like you said, it can mimic so well. It's like nightmare fuel added with NOS, man. This thing, the grotesque creatures it turns into throughout the movies is just wicked. And the one where the head goes up in the air and it turns and it's the gnarly teeth on the guy.
Eyes are bulging out.
Oh man. Oh.
Who did the special effects for that?
I don't know if this is Stan Winston or not. We haven't done an episode. We should do an episode on the thing at some point, but in the prequel.
We should do an episode on Stan Winston.
Stan Winston, man. Rest in peace. What an amazing guy that dude was. I mean, kind of like a Terminator, this thing can't be bargained with. In the thing, you don't even know what its purpose is. It just goes around mimicking, murdering, and going on.
I'm assuming it's trying to assimilate.
Yeah, but it just goes from thing to thing. It doesn't have one big giant plan.
But that's kind of like a xenomorph.
Like, if you watch the prequel, you kind of know why it's on the planet, but like you don't know exactly what its purpose in the universe is. It's the ultimate horror movie to me. Like, I love Halloween and I love slasher movies, and there's some really good ones. Alien is good and Aliens is great, but to me, The Thing is the one. I mean, they're neck and neck though. It all depends on the night. I guess they go back and forth, but they're definitely top 5 horror movie ever fucking made right here. And it's because even to this day, if I watch it, I will have fun, but I will still deep down be in knots inside because how just wickedly terrifying this thing is. I should have had a synonym tab open on my computer here just for different words for terrified and scared, because oh my God, like as a kid, as an adult, that's why it's number 1, because it's my entire life I've been like, that movie is just fucked.
I like that it was my number 2 and your 1, and your number 2 was my 1, technically.
Dude, Aliens and Thing.
Yeah. So you think if a thing,
the way that it
absorbed a xenomorph,
it's very adaptable very quickly. I think that even with the acid, it would be able to adapt to the DNA and create something so horrifically powerful and dangerous. Not only can mimic things, but now it has acid blood too. Like, what? It's not really afraid of fire. It's cold. It can be frozen, I suppose. But
I am disappointed though.
Why?
Because I thought you were gonna do the Predalien as your number 1.
Oh, the Predalien, the one that likes
Predator,
to
alien,
face bang pregnant ladies and then have belly busters come out of it after it's eaten embryos. Yes, that is nasty and terrifying.
It was a horrible concept.
It's a horrible concept because it works because it's so terrifying and disgusting.
Well,
and whoever thought about it was like, hey, you know what? Maybe it should just go into the nursery, the pregnant ward, and just fuck with the pregnant ladies.
Guys, what if in this hospital all the pregnant women are in a row?
Yeah, because that's how it works.
In the same room, and they don't hear it impregnating the one next to them.
In the small town that has a massive size hospital and
with a helipad.
The helipad doesn't have separate rooms for pregnant ladies.
I'm amazed that we have a helipad.
I was looking up the research for the trilipede and everything, and it said something about being similar to the belly buster. I was like, what the hell is the belly buster? I don't know what a chest burster is. And it took me to the Predalien, and then there's a GIF of the Predalien with its thing on the lady's mouth. You can see the GIF going over and over the throat. It's just jamming its eggs down her throat. I'm like, this is so messed up. Rule 34, guys. Let's make it stop. Just because it should happen doesn't mean, it can happen doesn't mean it should happen.
My God. Does that mean the offspring is already in interesting positions with Rule 34?
I don't know.
Oh, please don't make that happen.
I don't know. Oh.
Well, that is all of them. We made it.
I want to know from you all out there, what did we miss? What on our list shouldn't be there? What is your nightmare fuel? What sci-fi based creature makes you not sleep at night? Or what messed with you as a kid? I Gremlins screwed with me as a kid, but I don't know how supernatural or whatever they are, so I didn't pick them. I think we had 2 good lists, somewhat similar in some spots, but I think we all justified our reasonings here. But tell us why we're wrong. Tell us why we're right. And thank you for listening.
Do you have any honorable mentions that you wanted to put on the list, but you just couldn't get it in that top 10?
The Blob, almost, but I'm not really afraid of the Blob. I mean, there's some creatures that are powerful and they're dangerous, but I'm not, like, for some reason, I don't, like, my one buddy's like, killer clowns from outer space. I'm not afraid of them. I didn't put it on here, so why would I put them on there? There's a bunch of other parasites thing. They do the Faculty or the Puppet Masters or, even Predator. There's the zombie viruses and Splice, and there's things out there, but there's some of them I had it when I was narrowing it down. I was like, they don't make me want to run away. And I'm not really scared of most of this stuff anyway. It's just putting yourself in that childhood 9-year-old version.
For me, it wasn't as much like, what am I scared of? It was more, how uncomfortable did that make me? But don't get me wrong. There was, like I said, there was a few that just screwed with me for a long time.
That's the Thing. If I knew instantly I had to face the Thing, I would run or just shoot just end it somehow, because if it sees you as a target and wants to, like, you're dead. You're fucking dead. Like, they used absolutely anything they could possibly use against this thing, and it didn't matter. And that's a lot of creatures on my list. You can't kill the sons of bitches. They're unkillable in a way. Even if you kill one, there's another 10 of them to replace them. Because of all the damn face banging going on. Jeez, oh Pete. What is it with you sci-fi horror directors? let's find another. At least in Slither, the tentacles go into her stomach. He just puts them right into her. He doesn't go down her throat. He just boom right in her belly.
Well, that's, I guess, a bonus.
Yeah.
You ready to head out of here?
I am ready to stay in my house. Yes.
Fair. So Instagram, Facebook, X. Let us know what we missed. Let us know what you think should have made the list. And of course, let us know what you'd want to hear on a future episode, because we love getting ideas and we love being out of our comfort zone, trying to figure out how the heck are we going to do this.
We want to know what the theme should be for season 3, because we're winding down.
Yeah.
Pretty soon here on socials, probably maybe even this week, which will be way in the future, I suppose, for you. I don't know how it works, but I'm going to be putting out some possibilities for some categories for our Tree Fort Awards. We want to know what you folks think out there. It's not just about Josh's ideas in the H train here. We want to know what you think the winners in some of these categories would be. So I will do my part and get those out there to you.
Sounds like a plan to me. And of course, if you really like what you're hearing and you want to support us, you want us to keep doing this for a long time, head over to patreon.com/Tree of Geek for only $5 a month. You can join our Patreon. You can become a supporter. You'll get a shout out every show. You'll be able to get some inside information, some behind the scenes pictures.
Hell, at this point, we might even bring you on.
You never know.
I mean, it's a possibility.
So, John, thank you for being our very first Patreon subscriber. And Unconfined You, we thank you as well.
Yeah, so, Halloween's coming up, Samhain's coming up, All Saints Day's coming up. It's that season, it's spooky season. So I hope you all have a safe holiday, whatever it is you celebrate. And if you don't, then have a safe day anyhow.
Drink responsibly.
Yes, drink responsibly. DDs, call taxis, Ubers, whatever, but have a good spooky season. I love you folks out there. It's time to put this train back in the old cobweb-filled station.
So from the Tree of Geek, this is Josh saying, take care, everybody.
And this is the H train hitting the reverse button, or as in some cases people call rocket gear. Doesn't matter. A jug. A jug.
We got anything for the end?
No, I don't know, man. I love it when you just find whatever. Something made you fucking
Find
laugh.
some weird shit sometimes.